Don't let it happen again. Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If everybody would stand with me, Commissioner Pelletier will do the invocation. Commissioner Ayers, would you lead us in the pledge today, please?
Lord, we thank you for allowing us to come together. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do know Commissioner Davis is on his way. He's hung up in traffic, but actually if you go ahead and do a roll call.
He's here.
He's here. Hold up.
Get in here so we can say he's here. Okay, go ahead, Ashley.
All right, Commissioner Graves,
Here.
Commissioner Pelletier,
Here.
Commissioner Ayers,
Here, man.
Commissioner Davis.
Great, I don't think there's anybody else here that's public, and I think they both know, they've been to this rodeo before. But we will, since there's just basically one agenda item, we'll take your comments at the end of the meeting, is basically what it will be. Of course, with the permission of the commission, as long as we don't get too long-winded with anybody. If we do a section and somebody's got a pressing question, I don't mind letting them speak as well. And since we only have two people here,
Been doing this now, and,
Longer for me.
yeah.
that's right.
I would say, me, 8 years I've been doing this commission. Y'all, this year, we don't know what all's going on with the state, we don't know where things are, where money's gonna be coming from. So we're cutting and being as lean as we can be. The goal is to stay within the means that we've been given. We're presenting a budget to say that. It's a big budget. I don't really want to get bogged down on too much of the minor stuff. We are more than happy to make any changes that y'all see that y'all want to make. We're here to basically say, we're gonna be presenting you with some of the outside needs that we see that are coming up. And of course, we put those in the budget. Some of them, we know we need to have discussions about with y'all, that you're gonna have questions about. Some of them are gonna be necessities, and I'm talking more along the lines of capital. And where we're going with some of our projects and things that we need to do, we're shifting a little bit of the vision right now, at basically the needs of the community. We're gonna have a lot more in paving this year. We've got some projects that we need to pave. We've always kind of had to rely on the state on the paving side of it. We can't do that no more. The state has done nothing for us in, 3 years now? I mean, they gave us 250, but that's, so we're just gonna have to. I will tell y'all real quick, and I know the city attorney's not here, he did provide the specs for a paving contract, for some of our smaller jobs. I'm going through that currently. It's a pretty big package, and it's taken me some time, but he did get that to me at the end of last week. And so we'll be putting that out, because that's gonna play a part in this budget, as to whether we can do that, or if we're just gonna have to just do one bid and put all the small projects in it. Which at this point, we could probably look at going ahead and doing for some of these, because there are some projects that are right now very pressing that we need to go ahead and get done. So, and so other than that, we have just some quick overviews. We have been talking in the past about being able to do percentage raises with merit. We pulled off of that this year because we're having some changes we're looking at in the health insurance side of it. And also the fact that we can't offer, major raises, and looking at it percentage wise, we're looking at for, just the general employees, 3% raise which is a little bit more than cost of living. What was cost of living right now?
2.7.
Yeah.
2.7.
2.7. But we're also looking at some variations in health insurance, which is becoming a very, very difficult situation. Our health insurance is, and it's the way our city handles health insurance. And when we get to that section, we can go over that a little bit heavier, because right now, we actually are giving benefits for families that the individual doesn't get. And we've got to start addressing some of these as we go down. We're one of the few cities that do it this way, but we're gonna have to start making things a little bit better, because our health insurance is eating us up. We're very fortunate, we went out, as we normally do, and got some quotes. We are proposing, we're gonna switch insurance this year. We're gonna drop, United, and we're gonna move to Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Florida Blues, employees really like Florida Blues, they've got a great network here, very responsive. They've got some additional benefits too that really help out the individual employees. That's gonna end up being a reduction over for the individual, right, Dave? I wanna be careful not to, because there are things that where they, it adjusts when you start looking at what you have on your plan, be it individual employee, child, employee, spouse, family.
Is it a reduction for the city as well, or just for the employee?
David, what we can look in this budget?
It's about a break even for the city based on United. United came in at a 14% increase. The Blues beat the rate from last year by a little bit.
What is,
So we're actually proposing that we switch to, we were running an 80-20% across the board. We're proposing that we pay 100% of the employee, giving that benefit to the employee, and doing 70% for employee plus. Right now, we have 24 employees that take the employee plus. That's costing the city an additional $180,000 a year. So you got 24 employees benefiting from that $180,000 versus everybody. This way it pushes more of that benefit to the employee only versus the employee family. I also, on the sheet, I have that as for the, paying for the employee, and then I also have it the 80-20 way. So you can see both. Both of them come out to be about the same amount of money as far as the city. There's like a $6,000 difference. But it basically, it starts, giving the single employee even more of a benefit. Right now, the family's employee plus, it's 2 to 3 times the benefit for those people versus a single employee, or an employee that chooses single coverage.
exactly. Okay, well, I didn't mean to get you
No,
into
it's fine.
a discussion on that.
We're gonna talk about insurance after he's done.
How we're gonna handle this, cause
Yeah, you guys have
Start
different
with one question.
questions, and I've already got 10 questions in the back of my head.
Yeah. We can start, honestly, I mean, health insurance, where would we start there?
Health insurance is one of those things that we have to discuss today.
Right.
Because I have to get it in Navigator for open enrollment, which comes up in August, and we have to get all the printouts and, so we have to really decide what we're gonna do with health insurance. The employee handbook actually we put that in the handbook, it's an 80-20 split, but we have to change the handbook, but you can
Bring that back.
We have,
okay, well, I guess, our question is, you're kinda giving us an overview now, but then we're gonna go back on each one of these.
Yes, yeah, I'm just kinda telling you some of the things, we
That's all right.
we kept our capital down to basically, we've got one big ask that's in the budget on the capitals. It's just something that we need to consider looking at, but most of the capitals that we're asking for, they're so easily justified at this point that, it's based down to necessity of what we need to do. And we can cover all those later, but I think health insurance is a place where we wanna start.
we've always had health insurance separate from our budget meetings, so, and now we've consolidated that, and,
So let's go ahead and finish the overview before
Yeah.
we dig into the individual stuff, so we can.
I actually kinda thought that's what we were looking at, we were gonna start with.
we're gonna start
Basically,
with health.
salaries and health insurance, yeah, we always start there, because
Yeah.
those are the fundamental things those are our big expenditures, and we have to get those set, and then see how that affects the rest of the budget, because, that's where a majority of things go. So we can start with health insurance, and I'll turn it over to David.
Are we done with the overview?
The overview, basically, we're at the 2.75 mils. We only increased water and sewer by the 5 cents and 15 cents, as we said. We have a 3% increase in here for staff, all staff, as far as salaries, with the exception of the fire department. The fire department is requesting a different split in shifts to go from a 24:48 to a 48:96. That means they'll work 2 full days and then have 4 off. Right now, they work 24 hours every 3 days. So that does increase overtime every pay period by 10 hours. This is already in the budget already. And then because of the rate of pay, when we did look at the rate of pay for firefighters, the minimum starting pay is $15 here. We have one other city that's $15.89, but pretty much they're in $17, $18. So this budget includes a $2 step increase for all firefighters. So we basically moved all the grades up to $2, so we gave every firefighter a $2 raise versus the percentage raise.
Yes, and we're not.
So the fire, we didn't put the percentage in, but the fire department has a $2 increase except for the chief and deputy chief. But everybody else is at 3%. With the fire department, we push the minimum grades and we bring that back to commission because we have to upgrade that salary schedule as well. Once
Yeah.
we do it, but
No, I don't understand, are you saying chief and deputy chief get the 3% or the $2?
they beat at 3%.
Okay, good.
Because all the firefighters will get the
And
$2
$2,
increase.
perfect.
We raised that, so
That's
it's
what
like
I
we're
was
moving
saying.
this, all of the grades up by $2 for the minimum pay to keep it in sequence, so wherever anybody is at right now, they would all get $2 automatically increase, and go with that.
Fire department only is what you were just talking about.
Correct.
That's just
Good.
the fire department.
Yeah, we're,
And the shift change is, there's pluses and minuses to it. I did read the white paper on it. It does sound like a benefit. The fire department does want it. They're the ones that asked for this change. There are several departments not local, right?
Panama Beach does it, and the surrounding areas, if you go west.
Walton County and some of them are already running this shift and the firefighters like it. What it does is they work 2 full days on, but then they get 4 days with their families. So they have a lot more downtime, a lot more rest time. So yeah, that first day they're probably gonna spend half the day in bed trying to catch up a little bit. If they have busy shifts, yeah, they may be down on the second shift, that's the downfall. For the most part, it's good for the morale and the fire department. So they have asked if we could go to this shift.
And it's my understanding that we've been losing some firefighters
We've lost it.
over things
We
like the
lost one
pay.
for that, for pay, and he went to one of the houses that's doing this.
It is a great recruitment tool.
Yeah, that's important too.
What is that gonna do to our overall manning though? Is that gonna
The
change?
service will stay the same, sir. We're just gonna have them for a few days so they can complete projects and, you know, like, CFO said, we just want a healthy firefighter. You know, these guys are getting beat up all night long. So when they go home, they're worthless to their families and whatnot all day long. And then the next day, they gotta do all the child caring and all this other stuff on the second day. Then they gotta kinda get in that mindset to get back 100% for us. So what it's gonna do is, you know, give them 2 additional days.
My only concern, if they work a shift and then they're beat up the next day for their families, are they gonna be beat up the next day to work that other 24-hour shift?
That's something Deputy Chief and myself will monitor. You know, if
Okay.
they have to, you know, catch shut eye here and there, we will definitely monitor that. But the service will not change.
Good enough.
And that's for the fire department, are we into salaries or what we into?
Well, we're just talking the fire
We're still
department.
over-
and then
I
we'll-
would just give the rest of the overview, but this is what's in the budget right now.
All right.
Okay, we already talked about health insurance, sheriff department, what new contract is coming, it's the 5% increases it's been in the past, and pretty much everything else is just based on inflationary factors or, past history as far as the budget goes. It is a balanced budget at this point. I did get another capital request, Tim, brought it to me, it's about $65,000. It's for cameras at the parks. And the
I
services.
thought we were gonna fund that this year.
That was the question, is if we can fund it this
I
year.
mean, we had a discussion already that we were gonna do cameras now, and now all of a sudden, we're gonna move it to this budget.
No, we didn't say that, we could do it this year or not, Tim just brought this into me.
yeah, we
So I
we
didn't
have
know
hard
we-
numbers to work with.
Yeah.
We did have numbers to
It's
work with.
$65,000, so I didn't know if we were gonna do it all this year or some next year, we can decide on that. But I'm just letting you know, in addition to the capitals, I have this that was just given to me.
And Jim is not here, right?
Tim is not here, Brent is here, Tim is on vacation.
You're gonna be able to talk about those cameras and what they do?
Yes. I can tell you what they do. We have them all over the city grounds. We have the same system at City Hall, we have it at Public Works, we have it at the fire department, the sheriff's office, we have the maintenance building. These cameras are, they record, and it'll
How
hold
long does
for-
it record?
It'll hold for about 30 days worth before it starts dropping off. These are huge multi-terabyte drives that keep all that, and,
I have a terabyte at home, so I know what it does.
so this is we utilize it all the time. They're very, very useful, and hopefully we can cut down some of the vandalism that we're having. We can get some of that on camera.
We need them, it's just that, you know, you tell us one thing, and then you come back in here and we change the whole story, and that's what I hate.
I don't think we changed the story.
We
We're telling
did, you know, we made it, we discussed it, city manager, that was gonna be purchased. 2 weeks ago, we discussed that we were gonna purchase those cameras, okay? And here we are, 2 weeks later, and we've got the bid, but we've done, you know, we've not gone forward with it. So we're gonna sit on it.
We just received it yesterday.
They just had the meeting on site
I understand that.
on Friday, that you have to do a site meeting, and that was, or Thursday, Friday. And so, all we're saying is, they brought us the numbers, we have them. Now, if we can find it in our budget this year, we'll go ahead and do it. This is not, nobody's bringing you a surprise saying we're putting it in there. It's a capital that's
I
right here.
understand
We're
that.
gonna deal with it one way or another.
My issue is what you tell us and what you do is entirely different story.
What have I done different, Commissioner?
We discussed at last
Okay.
meeting that the cameras were gonna be purchased, okay?
Okay, we just got the
I
numbers
understand
yesterday,
that, but don't
so.
put it in the budget, just do it.
Okay.
Well,
Either way, I'm not bringing it.
If we put it in the budget, nothing will be done till October.
we're not putting it in the budget.
Yeah.
He's just bringing it up, there was just brought to him today, but
We
for
want you
our
to-
prior discussions,
Yeah,
I was expecting it at the next commission meeting.
yeah.
So, he's just bringing it up today, kinda wish he had.
Yeah,
Just lost
you-
5 minutes.
Yeah.
We covered the fire department pay, do you want to talk about the rest of it, or? Since Commissioner Briggs asked about salary, I think we talked about the fire department.
We're asking for just 3% across the board for employees. And a lot of that is, we're driving this off of what we're doing with health insurance. Because, you know, with us changing, going to 100% for the individual employee, and then dropping the percentages on the employee plus, that's gonna be more of a cost burden on those people that have to have those plans for their whole entire family.
Okay, well, I kinda like what we did, let's say last year, you've got it listed down here where we, greater of 75 cents or 3%. Now, what that means is, everybody that's under $25 per hour, basically, would be getting a 75 cent rather than a 3%. And 3% is gonna be much less than that 75 cents. So, very honestly, the lower group, said the people that are under 20, was actually the people that are over 25, only about 6 or 7, 8 people
Right.
in the city. So basically by the people that are under 25, under 25, represent the majority of the people in the city. And I'm thinking that at least minimum 75 cents an hour. I mean, people love percentages, love 3%, you know, you hear that on TV and everything else, and the cost of living increase of 3%, et cetera, et cetera. But what are you making?
Right.
And when most of our people are under $25 an hour, I think they deserve more than 3% on that. In other words, actually 3% of $25 an hour is 75 cents. So, I just think that, the lower paid people, and very honestly, this is not gonna stir our division of going through, but some of us remember years ago when everything was tied into the percentage and all that, and, a lot of the people that were actually doing the work, so to speak, you know, weren't getting anything, and the upper echelon was.
So, I appreciate what you did last year of not accepting an increase. I don't necessarily believe in that. I think you should have, you know, I voted to not give you the increase. I think I was wrong. But anyway, we'll correct that this year. At least you'll be part of the 6, 7, 8 people that get the 3%.
We can look at rolling, I mean, we can roll that model again. The 3% on, just take, say an average of $18 an hour is 54 cents.
Yeah, because you have to be making $25 an hour before 3% is 75 cents.
And I gotta be honest with you, we'll have to evaluate that model. That may have to go up a little bit with what they got last year. That may kick people in certain areas, so we may have to adjust it. It won't be fair to all the employees, not just, you know. And it does tear off at a certain spot, but that's shifted since last year, so we can look at that.
Well, in some cases, it may kick them out of their, salary bracket and all.
Right.
You know, the upper side of it, yeah.
Yeah, it worked out.
But we
The
need
model
to
worked
adjust that
really
side.
good last year. I mean, it worked, that worked great last year. And we can definitely throw that model in again, if that's what this commission so chooses.
We're here for discussion. That's,
Are we past the overview now?
No, we're talking about salaries.
I know, I was just making a point that we should do a
Right.
complete overview and then get into the specifics. So we need an overview before we go
Well,
into specifics.
I think they did the overview.
Well, there should be a
Salary.
demarcation point that says, okay, we're done with the overview, let's get into.
Okay, we're done with the overview. Can we move on to salaries?
You may.
Please.
Please say overview.
I agree with what you said. I'm good with the 75 cents because it does equate to more. If you've got somebody that's at $20 an hour, you know, the 3%, that's like 60 cents now. Yeah, 60 cents. So 70, like the $75 is $1,560 over a year, so that's not bad, almost $1,600. That's, you know, I think it's more than a lot of places. I know I've worked at places that sometimes people got 5 cents or 10 cents.
That's the reality in civilian life, you know, but we're using tax dollars, so we can go ahead and do more. You know.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, 75 cents is
Yeah.
not bad when you compare it to some places.
Let us also indicate that if you remember, and I've got to throw health insurance in there, because employees pay part of their health insurance. When we go to 100% on the individual employee, that actually, they're not paying for that, and that ends up being a 75 cent an hour increase in their pay.
So they're really getting $1.50.
So they're gonna,
Right, and that's what I'm saying, is
they're
that
gonna get the 75.
we're not considering that in the whole picture.
Exactly.
You know, and when we had health insurance that we paid 100%, we had more abuse with health insurance because they don't have to pay anything, so our premiums end up going up the following year, so we got away with that. You remember that, you know, and those of us who've been on the board for a while remember way back when.
I don't think we ever paid 100%, but we paid a healthy portion of some stuff.
If you're gonna do 100% plus a 75, that's $1.50 pay raise, and I don't support it, number one. Number two, I don't you know, you were asked last year to come up with merit increases. And we're giving pay increases to people, in my mind, and I see it all the time, that probably should not get the pay increase, okay? And I'm not gonna tell you who they are, but, we're giving increases across the board. So now we're at $1.50 an hour, and I think that's too much, you know, for our budget. It's a balanced budget, I agree, but again, we're not being steward of our money. If you go to Walmart, Targets, any of the big boxes, you're getting 10, 15 cents an hour pay raise, okay? And we're giving them $1.50.
I know you said you go to 100% on the employee-only insurance.
Mhm.
How many people is that? Cause that's the people that are gonna get the dollar, amounts to $1.50, so how many people are we talking about?
38.
38 people that are employee only? That's a lot of people.
Thank you.
That's half our people.
Yeah. You know, we
And
need,
what are those people paying now?
The current is, per pay period, $64.
I mean, what I've always wondered,
So they
because
pay $120
I know we pay so much for the employee. We pay a certain amount for employee child. We pay a bigger amount for employee spouse
80-20.
or family,
We do an 80-20 split on every
on
bucket.
everything. So that, I agree. So the people that take family coverage are getting a much larger amount paid than the people that are taking. What I've always thought is, why don't we just say, we'll pay this much for the employee and they pick up. I mean, I know I've been places, and I think we've even talked about it before, but there have been reasons that we didn't do it, but I've been places that they pay for the employee, and then if you have any excess, you cover it yourself, because it's like, you chose to have that family, you pick up the cost of that family, but we backed off from that, because the people that it would impact are the lower paid people. But I know we have had that discussion in the past, but that's why we
Yeah, we
haven't
had
done
that,
it.
that was the first year I was here, this was a big discussion overall.
But
And how it
that's,
works.
but
And that's
they-
why, that's why I believe we need to go that route. But you can't do it in one year.
no,
So that's why
eventually
we're
we
saying,
need
you know,
to work
and-
toward that.
and to be honest with you, I mean, if we have an employee, I mean, we're offering the benefit, I don't think that $64 is making them go to the doctor anymore or causing any increase. If they have an issue, they go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I don't see that there's abuse for the plan. Honestly, what we have is we have more people that actually take our insurances because, number one, we do have good insurance. Number two, it's a higher benefit. And that's what we're seeing on like some of the employee plus, you know. And it's keeping everything just kind of lockjaw. And so we wanted to present this as a possibility. This is discussion that we could start looking at. Let's go to 100% on employee. Instead of going to the 80-20, we go to a 30-70. And we can start lowering this each year, should we choose. But have a plan for the future. You can't do it in 1 year.
Well, what if like this year, instead of going just 100% of the employee only, maybe we go to a 70-30 or a 60-40, where they're still gonna pay less, but it's not amount to 75 cents an hour less. I'm just looking at what,
Well, if we went to a
I'm looking at
70, if we
trying
went to a
to
70-30,
compromise.
but in
our
civilian
numbers are
life,
based on 80-20, okay? That issues that we currently have, that's based on an 80-20. If you went to a 70-30, the employee, they end up paying more.
I'm just talking about the,
insurance.
just for the employee only, but we're not, they may be at 80-20, but in this budget, you did them at 100%. We're paying 100%.
Right.
Correct.
And that's what I'm saying with them, maybe instead of doing an 80-20 or 100%, maybe we meet someplace in the middle and do like a 70-30, where they're paying less of the cost, but we're not paying quite 100%, because
would be-
those are the people that are
wouldn't-
getting,
Okay, that wouldn't be an 80-20, they'd be like a 90-10. We pay 90%,
Right,
they pay 10.
right, so
Yeah,
that's-
if you go the other way, the employee pays more.
yes, I got you.
So if we, I mean, and we
Well, I'm
can,
just
we can go
thinking-
to a 90-10.
Because I know we got two commissioners here that weren't in favor of that because it was giving them $1.50 an hour is what it
But
amounted
it's
to.
not only that, Mayor, is that, you know, the benefits we're given are great, but where in civilian life are we supplementing insurance for dependents? Where? Tell me, any business in society that does that? None.
Well, I've worked places that they do pick up
Very
a
few.
part of the cost.
Very few.
And I'll be honest with you,
It's all
as,
government.
as an employee only,
Yeah.
I would always feel like, well, look at all the benefit they're
Okay.
getting and I'm not getting the benefit. So I understand what they're saying.
You know, I just have an
We
issue.
are where we are today
I understand.
because of what the decisions that were made in the past. So we can't we can't fix this in a
No.
year.
No,
We're gonna have to phase this in.
We can fix it if we want to. You're saying you can't fix it. We're the ones that are making the decision.
we can fix it, but depending on what we do, we don't wanna have a mass exodus of employees because of the health insurance, because all of a sudden they can't afford to pay.
I understand.
And I'm
And then,
I'm concerned about the employee retention and being able to explain and work with them to say, this is what we need to do, and this is our game plan. You can plan accordingly over the next several years, that if you're gonna do this, we're gonna, go that route. That's really what it boils down to. I've worked in multiple large corporations, and they did the same thing.
okay,
The chemical companies, I worked for 2 chemical companies, and both of them, they did.
I don't know any
But once
company
again,
that-
we're, as much as I hate to say this, we're not private, we're public. And, we've looked at the other cities and how they do it, and they're a little bit all over the place too.
I know.
We do have one city that they pay 100% of employee, and they'll pay nothing, like what you were saying.
So they just pay that amount for everybody.
Correct.
Which city is that?
Springfield does that.
And what is the amount, since we're talking about if you went to 100% of the employee only, what is that dollar amount?
Per month, $625.
$625 a month is what it costs for employee-only coverage?
On the new Blue Cross plan, we're currently at $648. For United, Blue Cross drops to $625.
Is that, I'm looking at this sheet that y'all gave us. Are those the numbers in that very first?
The first
The
column.
yellow.
The first yellow column is United Healthcare, that's the current plan.
Okay, so
The next
that's,
yellow color is the Blue Cross proposed plan from Blue Cross.
okay, I got you. So those are the amounts that we currently pay for each employee per month,
For each,
each classification.
that's
So
that
if they
premium
have,
for that we pay to that, and then when you get over to the other side where I'll say, it says annual, those will be the amounts, the total amount will be, that's there, and then it figures out here, the employee pays that portion, the city pays that portion on an annual basis.
well, I was just looking at what the rate is. So if we go with the Blue Cross Blue Shield, those amounts, the $625, the $1425, the $1256, whatever, and then the 2001, those are the amounts we pay monthly for those classifications.
Correct.
Okay.
And what page are we on?
It's the
It's on the-
extra page,
This year, here.
It's on the
that's why I held
supplemental.
it up.
It's not gonna be part of that package, it's separate.
No, it's separate, it was what she had emailed to us, it was additional information.
Yeah,
that
this
they-
part, that didn't even,
No, it was in the section.
just the pay raise part.
Huh?
I printed it off, and all I got was the,
You just printed the
Should
first
have been
page.
2 pages.
There's 2 pages.
Printed out.
That looks like it right there.
no, this is the equipment.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean, there is a big disparity in what we pay for other classifications. It would be a big hit if we just decided, oh, we're gonna pay $625 for everybody, and they pick up the rest. That's gonna put a big amount on family. Now, I know we decided on the 80-20. I was thinking that was that we pay 80% of any increase, not of the total. I didn't think we were gonna readjust the numbers every year. I thought that was an
Thank you.
increase, we'd pick up 80 and pass along 20.
written in the handbook, I believe, that we pay 80% of the premium.
See, that's, I think
So every year the
that's an
premium
issue,
changes.
because that means
Yeah.
every
Premium
year
changes.
we're changing everything.
We adjust everything, yes.
And see, to me, it's easier if you say 80% of the increase will pick up and they, I don't know. Because I see that changes, I mean, what? I see what, under the new rates, what we would pay for each category. Is that, but that's, where is it what we would pay if we go with the 100% of the individual, where is that column?
The individual is the first block of 3.
I understand, but then, but the other numbers have been adjusted as well,
The
right?
other, that's what we do is we take the base plan is what we do, so the 5,000 deductible plan is the base plan. We figure out what the rates for that are, and then we apply what the city's paying for them to the other plans. The increase in the other plans, it's a better deductible and a better plan. The employee chooses that, so they pay the difference.
Right, but I'm just wondering, say they all took the base plan. Do we show something on here what the city's gonna pick up? I see you've got the employee rate here in a column, but what would be the new city rate?
So the city's cost is in the kind of the Spanish. The employee pays nothing, the city would pay $7,504 on an annual basis.
Okay, I see it, I see that, that one wasn't highlighted, so I see that one.
And then all of those numbers go for each plan, that's what the city employee difference is. So you can see the employee's at 100, the city pays 70% of the next 3 plans. You drop down to the 1,500 plan, or the next one. Then that becomes an 88-62 split, and then it's an 82-58 on the premium plan.
And what is the city paying now? As far as, I'm just trying to look
Paying
at,
80/20 right now.
well, I know, but I wanna know what the dollar amount
Right.
is. Telling me 80% doesn't help if I don't know 80% of what,
Of what, yeah.
what does that equate to? I'm just looking at how everybody comes out with this, I see it's a big difference for the employee, I'm just wondering how much of a difference it is for the city.
Right.
It's got, the 80-20 split is down below on the new rates, would be $6,000 versus $7,500. It's pretty close to what it is for this year.
Okay, wait a second. No,
Go
but
down.
I'm asking,
So,
what is the
Look at
current?
it this way, these top 3 columns,
Uh-huh.
that's with the 100%. Go down here, these bottom 3, this is an 80-20.
Okay, well,
That's
what
how the
I'm
numbers
trying
look
to,
on an 80-20. what
okay,
we
but
currently
what I'm
do.
trying to figure out is, what are we paying in 2025? Because I wanna look at the difference in what are we paying now
Versus,
versus what are we looking at paying based on this? I'm just trying to figure out where the city comes out in all of this. And I don't know, is that on here?
No,
Well,
we're paying, of the $648, the city pays $519.
so that's per month. These other the numbers on here are annual, right? The
So that's
$75.
$6,233.16
Hang on, 6,233,
33.
okay, and then for employee spouse,
Would it be helpful if David just ran through these columns, told us what the acronyms are and everything? Like you have employee,
what
ES is employee spouse, EC is employee
Employee
child,
child.
Children and
and
Okay.
family, I
Yeah,
got that.
I know, I knew that. But
I did not.
I'm just wanting to know what we're paying now and what our increase would be.
be about 100 plus a month.
Well, on that one,
Yeah, right, I know.
I mean, it would be 1,300 a year. Cause we're
Per
paying,
employee,
yeah, per employee.
that's what I'm saying.
that's 38 employees.
Thank you. Plus pay raises.
That's a lot.
I know.
Well, that's what I wanna see how these others, cause I know they said there's a decrease in the rate, but yet we're increasing.
Well, the column, the blue column at the end shows you the decrease or increase from the current use.
Okay, I see right here. Well, yeah, but see, it still doesn't show me what the city's paying right now for each one of these categories. Which I'm just trying to figure out how much more is the city gonna spend?
Seems to me that I think what he needs to do is change this and tell us the basic what we're paying now versus what we're gonna pay tomorrow.
I mean, wouldn't you, that would be helpful to me.
Instead of having all these charts that, of course, unfortunately, this is my problem, I can't read it anyhow. That's my
Yeah.
problem, you know, that,
It's not the
it's just to
easiest thing.
simplify the whole thing.
But
Give
yeah,
us what
that's-
we're paying now and
That's
what we're
what I
paying
would
tomorrow,
like to know.
period, per employee.
That would help me make a decision better if I know how much are we really looking at.
And then while we're still looking at that, you know, last year, again, all of us up here agreed that we would do merit pay this year. It wasn't a Bob Pelletier thing, it was a commission thing. And again, this year, we're delaying it. Why?
My next question is, when it says 5,000 deductible plan, is the name of the plan 5,000 deductible plan, or is it 5,000 deductible?
It's a $5,000 deductible plan.
So
They changed the plan names are just kinda crazy. Sometimes they'll be a 3905, United changes their plan name every year, even though it's the same plan. It's D7819,
Yeah.
DZBQ5. I mean, the name of the plan doesn't mean anything to us, so when you go to pick a plan, you're gonna look at, is it a $5,000 deductible, what is the $1,500 deductible, $1,000 deductible plan? That's the main thing that people look at when they look at, when you present it to the employees, you show them everything that falls under that plan. Most plans start with the deductible. So that's the way you look at the plans when you're looking at plans.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for getting rates so that we have something to compare and we can go to a lower rate.
We had a good year. We had a good claims year. People are competing.
Y'all, everybody keep it up.
Yeah.
Stay healthy. Good for the employee, good for the insurance.
It is. Even though United came back with a 14%,
Yeah.
that's what they do, they get you in.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Because,
what
this is our first offer. Well, It's almost like, why even make it, we're not gonna take it. And we start fighting, and then you start getting in other people, and then they wanna negotiate, well, what if we do this? No, you should've done it to our offer.
Exactly. Okay, where are we at? We still figuring?
Well, we haven't made a decision on insurance because we don't have what we,
Well, that's what I
we
was
need.
asking, if we were still, it looks like David's calculating there, I didn't know if he was calculating costs or. Or do we need to get
And
that?
while he's doing that, I don't understand why we as a commission made a decision on merit pay and we're letting this slide again this year. You know, I think we should reward the employees that deserve the pay raise. And what we're doing here is we're giving it to everybody. And we, as a commission last year, all 5 of us agreed to that. and all of a sudden, we're not gonna do it again. I don't quite understand why we set standards and then we don't follow through.
We can shift, that's not an issue. We can look at the 3%, we can shift it. We wanna do base 2 with 1% merit,
It's,
or if we wanna go base 1 with 2% merit, we can implement it very easily. It just was not working out real well this year because we're trying to keep this budget tight, knowing what's coming up in the future. And then just looking at the fact that the cost of living is gonna be 2%. And once again, we're talking about the lower level employees, how much is that gonna amount to? And, you know, take the, take the 1% on we'll just say the average $17 an hour, we're playing with 17 cents.
Yeah, cause if you do.
What we're playing with, we're talking about 17 cents.
well, you know, I hate to tell you, but I worked at Walmart for so many years, and I got 20 cents a year pay
Okay.
raise. And you know, and that's civilian life, it's not tax dollars, and I'm not taking anything away from the employees. I'm just saying is that we as a commission establish standards, and you give us a budget that's different than what we asked for when it comes to merit pay raises.
Well, to be honest with you, we're still recognizing 3%. If you wanna do a 2-1, do a 2-1. If you're gonna do a 1-2, do a 1-2. And I can have that for you by the next meeting. We can plug this into the formula, just like that.
But that means that.
But if I'm
what we
looking at-
pay people, the most they get is 3% if they're outstanding workers.
Correct.
So that takes away the 75 cents.
So the only thing we should be doing is voting on the city commissioner and the city clerk on the pay raise. The rest of it, if it's merit-based,
Yeah, the city
it's
manager.
up to the city manager.
Unless you wanna
to
do
give
The
those
city
raises.
manager and the city clerk.
It's still part of our budget, so it really doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's part of our overall budget, so we have to approve the budget, so we're just not gonna give him carte blanche, or
Yeah,
he
we
can do
can-
whatever he wants with pay
Yeah,
raises.
no.
But yes, it's in the budget, and he's gonna present a budget with his raises that we need to approve or disapprove, but the part that I was mentioning is where the city manager and the city clerk, we approve theirs.
Right.
The rest of it, it's up to him, and
Well-
he needs to present a budget on that part.
Yeah, I mean, we
Okay, but
feel
you have to
that,
give us, you have to give us
with.
the direction on which way to go.
We get direction.
Percentage or dollar value to spread.
Well, if you come up with, you know, the merit, you say it's supposed to be 3%, and I got 50 people that deserve that, then that's what my budget is. And you present that to us, and we approve this.
well,
Do you have a merit-based procedure?
Yes,
You do have one, so.
yes, it's based on, it would be based on employee appraisals. You know, just basically the review process, and we would go through that process. We could expedite it real quick. We would just shift from January to basically July, we do it now. And we could expedite through that. The only caveats that we had was is we would put more people would be involved in that appraisal process because difference of, you know, some people think, well, he's a 6 and some people think all my employees are 8s. Right? I mean, you know, that's, you run into the,
kind of favoritism.
yeah, you run into that, and so, you know, that's one of the things where we put multiple people would be involved in that process. And basically what you're looking at is, you know, a 5, and they're tiered out, we go through a 9. We shifted that a long time ago, back because it used to only be like 1 through 4. That's not, can't do that, so we run it through,
It's like-
for a performance of 9, and then you've got like, I think it's 5 through 4, 5, and 6 is basically you're doing your job.
Well, if you have that procedure, how does it tie into the dollars? If somebody is rated, you know, is your procedure 1 through 10, 1 through 5, or what? If they're 1, they should already be on the road,
Correct.
Right.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. So basically you run into is you've got the 4, 5, and 6, And, you know, I'd say majority of everybody's gonna be 5 and 6s, doing their jobs, they're, you know. That's gonna be your base.
That's gonna be like your cost of living.
That's your cost of
They
living.
get the cost of living and no
You're
merit.
doing great, here's your cost of living, you know. And then the merit comes, are you a 7 and 8? It's very rare to get to a 9. 9 which are perfect. And that's not gonna happen, so. And if anybody gets ranked a 9, they have to go through an explanation process on why they got ranked a 9. Unless it's on something like attendance or something, you know, that's, when you look and see. We don't have to go through that.
Well, the answer Commissioner Pelletier's, the dollars that are involved in the, health insurance, that's for everybody, no matter what they're earning. If you or everybody else, that's all involved. So everybody gets that. So then what you're looking
We
at
haven't
is,
decided on that yet.
or,
We haven't decided on that
No,
yet.
he's saying hypothetically, I mean, he's just saying,
but you were bringing up that they were, you know, what they were getting out of here, and I've done some calculations, and, but everybody gets that, whatever we decide on,
Right.
everybody's involved. So I'm not considering this, except considering this as, you know, what the city wants to put in for health, you know, what we wanna do there, because that's everybody. So the discussion then comes back to the, raises, salary raises, hourly raises, whatever you wanna call it. And, you're right, Commissioner Pelletier, we're talking about merit, but from what I see, the city hasn't done that much related to the merit, at least as we sit here today. Now, maybe they can go back on all evaluations, but if you needed 2 or 3 or 4 people or whatever, a team on evaluation, that hadn't taken place, so that's not gonna work this year. I don't see how you can come up with it this year.
My point, Commissioner, was the fact that we directed the city manager last year, all 5 of us, made a decision, that's direction to the city manager, okay?
Okay.
Am I missing the boat here or what?
No, you're not missing the
Okay.
boat, but here again, that boat is sailed. And we gotta go, we
So
gotta
we're just gonna
go.
go again another year. And that's what I'm saying, is that I am sick and tired of giving direction, and that direction doesn't come.
Okay, but we can be irritated in multiple directions.
I'm not irritating, I'm just making a comment, I'm making a statement, the fact that we as a commission are not holding him responsible for what we delegate to him, what we, you know, and that's what we need to be doing.
But based on what we're in here today, that's a totally another subject to me.
It's not another subject, because
I'm telling you right now, we can-
Based on what we asked for, you screwed up for this year. Now we gotta go to the next year.
Well, the thing about it was that, I'm gonna come back and say, we're dealing with 3%, and we're talking about raises of 17 cents in addition. Now, unless we want to go and go to 4%, and we'll do 2 base and 2 merit. But you're talking 17 cents. I mean, I get what you're saying. We look at compression, we look at decompression when it comes to salaries. And, I mean, if that 17 cents is gonna create this, I'm surprised I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm surprised it's creating this big of a problem. Because when we looked at it, it just didn't look feasible, it didn't look right.
So my question is, what's the 17 cents you're talking about? We're talking 75%.
1%.
That's 1%.
If we do a 2-1.
Okay.
yeah, because our lowest paid employees, they're probably at $17 now.
And I thought we had talked about the lowest paid guys, we were going to go ahead and do 75 cents on.
Well, no, but that's what we're talking, if we do merit, they won't get the 75 cents, they'll be put in the same thing with everybody else, that right now, if we stick with the 3%, that's the most they would get is 3% if they rank in the top. So that's where he's coming up with 17 cents.
Yeah,
We've
and that's,
got a
I mean,
low,
and I gotta say, it's a wonderful concept. It is. Now, do we look at, but then again, depending on how we look at the health insurance, once again, that's another situation that we're throwing in here because we're seeing a bigger picture that has to do with the employee plus and how that's affecting us. And when you start getting it all down into the weeds, we're gonna come back and go, we could go to the 100% on the plan. And you're right, that's gonna be 75 cents an hour raise. It is.
Yeah.
But you're only looking at the one employee. Once again, you have employees that are down here, they're tiered. And so when you start tiering them, they're paying more. So it's hard to tie salaries into health insurance. Because everybody has needs. And so you almost have to look at it separately. And so that's why we looked at going to 100%, which, yes, it's gonna end up being a 75% increase in their pay. They will tangibly see that. That's great, and that's a lot of the employees. But at the same time, you've already agreed in the past that you're helping out with the families and everything. Now, you look at the bottom tier, we can stick with the 80-20. I mean, I think that comes up to, actually say this when you're done. We stick with 80-20. Yeah. We can stick with the 80-20. Now, when that happens, because we're switching the plan and we're getting a little cost reduction this year, that single employee's gonna get a 3 cent an hour raise. And that's because we did our due diligence on the insurance to get it down. So there's 3 cents right there. That's why we're saying there's so many variables and tangibles in here that's going on. But with the health insurance, we still have to look at the whole, not the one. I mean, really wanna put down to it, some of them that are the singles are, some of your younger people. They don't have families yet. Some of our really good employees have families.
Are just single.
Yeah, that's right, and some of the employees will take single coverage.
Situations.
Yeah, it's all situational.
What their spouses make, what their spouses offer as far as benefits go, it all comes into play. The amount that we currently pay is, for an employee only, is $518.
For what?
For employee only per month. That's $6,220 per year.
Okay.
Employee spouse is $1,182, which is $14,192 a year.
Okay.
Employee child is $1,037, comes out to $12,448 per year. The family, $1,659, comes out to $19,910 a year.
That's what we're paying currently.
That's correct, based on current rates on the one plan. Now, depending on the other plans, the employee may pay more because they're picking a higher premium plan. So it varies on plan as far as what the, but that's what we pay for each plan.
So under all of these, any category, if we go with the lower plan and we do it the way you've taught, the city is still gonna be spending less money. Because right now, we're paying for single coverage, 6,000, oh no, that was gonna be more, but the others are gonna go down. We're gonna go from 14 to 11, we're gonna go from 12,448 to 10,506, and from 19,910 to 16,809. So, the additional that we're gonna pay for the individual is gonna be made up by the others.
It's a cost shift, so you're shifting more to benefit to the single employee, the person that chooses employee only versus the employee family.
Yeah, so that all, it makes sense, see, that's what I wanted to know, so we're coming out, we're saving money and the employees are saving money, so it's a win for everybody, that's what I was trying to look at. I wasn't trying to be difficult, that's just easier for me to compare that way.
Understand. We get lost in the numbers too.
I'm another person.
So is he.
Mhm. I'm watching the electrician's supposed to be going to my house and they're supposed to call my sister, to make sure they weren't contacting me.
Okay, what do we wanna do with health insurance?
But after seeing those numbers, I'm fine with what they talked about doing, where you go to 100% for the employee only, and then the changes in the other.
I have no problem with that.
No, nobody else is saying anything. That's only two of us, so how did the other three of you feel?
So to the far right, actually, what we told
It
you.
says there's a
You want to
cost.
say something?
1556.
Right now, it's a 70-30, that's what, that we're paying,
I'm sorry.
70-30 split.
Right now, we're 80-20. We're proposing a
80-20.
70-30 with a 100% cost share on the individual.
Okay, so to the right is the employee cost. Is that correct?
I don't know, I can't read that.
I'm sorry. But the far right
It's
says
my fault.
employee, and it says save cost and cost.
That's the difference, that column is the difference between what we're paying today versus what the proposal is.
Per employee.
Sorry, depending on the plan you pick.
Okay. And 100% is gonna be an extra 1556 per employee,
An employee only, yes.
and we have 38 of those.
And you're right, the current employees actually would be seeing this as an increase. Now, future employees who like to have the dollars and don't care about the insurance.
Oh, they're gonna get insurance, it's free?
Yep.
Well,
Doesn't matter if they care or not,
it's only free if it's the individual.
for the individual, that's
For
what
the
I'm saying.
individual, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be free if
I
they
don't know
want.
anybody that would say, no, I don't want your insurance, it's free, I'm not gonna, I don't want it, they're gonna take it. So it doesn't matter if it's future or not, it's
Well,
a single employee.
Right, if it's a single employee.
What we run into in the city, we run into in business, that particularly the younger employees, non-married employees, whatever, they're interested in the dollars, they could care less about the insurance and the retirement and all that, but
And I feel like
We currently do have employees that do not accept our insurance no matter what, they don't want it, they turn it down. We also have about 7 or 8 employees that opt out of the insurance and take the $100 stipend per month because they're covered under a spousal plan. If employees are getting insurance free, there's 2 benefits to that. If they do come on our plan, it costs us money, but in the long run, it saves us money because you have more people on the plan that aren't going to use the insurance. So it keeps all your premiums down from going up in future years because your claims aren't there. So there's multiple ways. The other thing that happens when you start doing the cost shift is you'll start looking, as I have done all my life, I look at my policy offers and I look at my wife's policy offer. We both take our plan at our individual employers, and then depending on which plan is the cheapest, you pick that for your children. So you always do it. I am currently an employee-only plan. My wife takes hers from the school board. We've always looked at it, and every year we review it to see whose plan was cheaper when we had our kids on the plan, and we decided. That's one of the benefits from, that you start pushing when you start putting the cost burden back on the employee for these employee, coverages for the employee plus plans. I truly believe that the employee should always have a little skin in the game. So you go 100%, but I don't believe that our benefit is fair, and I've never felt it's fair, as you said, Mayor. When you're offering a $6,000 benefit to one person and a $20,000 benefit to another, that is absolutely not fair to any employee. So with this plan going to 730 is trying to push that back, which we can continue to do over the years and bring that down, versus trying to say, okay, now you gotta pay this 100%. Basically, you're taking that single plan, and we're saying we're paying $625 for an employee, and apply that to each one of those plans. Look how much those employee families or employee spouse would have to pay in a year. That's a huge hit. And we do have other cities that offer better benefits than we do.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're gonna get some of these employees that are gonna jump ship if we go that drastic in a year. Our proposal is to go with the 100% and the 70% to try to bring that down. And again, next year we can look at it again, maybe go to 50% or 65% or 60% and bring it down every year and shift that burden a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, I'm fine with that.
And we could stick with, even if the issue is you want people to have skin in the game, do a 90-10 on the individual, and then run the 70-30 on the other.
They do, that's an 80-20 right now, correct, on the individual, the employee. only?
We're 80-20 on all plans right now.
Yeah.
This would be 70-30.
On everything but the employee.
Yeah, the way this is proposing the 100% that we pay on the employee.
You put the 80-20 on the individual employee and run 70-30 and start dropping it each year. If y'all feel like it's necessary for an employee to have
We
skin in
could
the
do
game.
70-30 on it. If we're going to 70-30 and all the rest, we could do 70-30. If we don't want to do the 100%, we can do the 70-30. It would make more sense to me if we're not gonna do 100, then keep it like we do in the rest of it. So I'm fine, like I said, I was always that individual employee, because my husband sure didn't want the insurance. He was
We've had this
military.
conversation how many times? 7, 8 years in a row, as we've been trying to
So,
fix and shift.
I mean, I can understand.
And this was the year that we felt like we could start the shift.
I think it's good that we do that $100 stipend amount, because I've worked places that I didn't take the insurance because my husband was military. Why would I wanna pay for something that I was getting for free? But it's nice that that helps people decide to opt out for this better insurance.
Yeah.
And
They're gonna get,
Which helps,
get the
it helps us.
1200. Cause I know we have several people that do that. I mean, I know that from looking through the budget, so, and I have no issue with that. I think that's a good thing that we do. That $100 a month is a lot cheaper than the cost of the insurance. Like I said, I'm fine with doing the 100%.
I heard from Commissioner Davis yet, he hadn't said a thing.
Now, he was saying something, but we were all kind of talking at the same time, so go ahead with what you had said before.
I'm okay with the 70-30. I guess my other part was talking about the employee review process. Who writes our reviews for the city, or has it been the same one for 50 years? Since it's been, like, is it performance driven? Or is it just say, I've never really personally seen the review.
It's the same one that we do on him. Haven't you done one on city manager and city clerk?
Same one the employees get.
Isn't it the same? Yep, that's the same for everybody.
it was changed
Well,
8 years
Walmart,
ago.
Everywhere I work is, either, 1 through 5, and you got a piece of money for it. It wasn't across the board, because Joe ain't toting his weight. If he gets a review, then the other guy's gonna slow, drop his anchor in the mud.
That's what we were talking about, the merit base.
I think that
I'd just like to say something, if I could. It's hard
or
enough
used that
for,
way, I mean, I guess. Who gives the review? Each department manager?
Department heads.
And supervisors.
yeah, I was gonna say, it's hard enough for some departments to keep employees, and if you start giving this employee this much of a raise and you don't give this employee that much, they're gonna find out about it, and it's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
you're gonna lose more people, and it's not gonna make, it would be very,
The boy maybe we're 75, on work the board.
well, that may be true, but still, but the thing about that is you're gonna lose more employees, because those people that are not getting this much of a raise,
Well, and
he got 2%, I only got 1%, they're,
And I think you've got to give the employees a chance that you need to educate them about it and say, you're going to this system, you're not gonna just get a flat percent. Everybody gets the same percent.
It
You
should be
need
a
to
surprise.
really excel and you'll get more of a raise.
Can't wait till the review to say, well, you haven't done that good a job this year.
No, that's, yeah, and that's it. You've got to maybe quarterly kind of give them a review that you need to step up and do this a little bit better. So I think there's more to it than just, at the end of the year, you just do it and slap them with it.
We don't have,
we do.
we don't have reviews that go back, those people don't make it. I mean, we don't see it. If you're not doing your job, you're not gonna be here, I'm sorry.
That's it. That's it.
I mean, I hate to tell you that, we don't have it. We have turnover, and that turnover is because if you're not doing your job, you're gonna get pushed.
And sometimes that pushes
And
people
that pushes
right
them
out the door.
and they'll push them right out the door, because if you cannot perform at a minimum of your job description, if you're doing your job description, you're gonna be average. If you're not doing your job description, you're not gonna be here. I'm sorry, we don't keep people on staff that's not doing their job. I mean, it's almost a self-fixing thing. You just don't see somebody come up at the end of the year. If somebody's doing bad performance at their work, they're gonna get an IEP.
What's an IUP? What's that? stand for?
Individual, PIPs, something called PIPs, personal improvement plan,
There you go.
they're gonna get coached up. And they're set, here's goals, this is what has to happen for you to continue to be here. And, you know, and I will tell you, they either improve, or they're not gonna be with us anymore, because I can't have that. We run lean anyway, I mean,
That's probably something like, we taught this maybe, you know, in the next few weeks, department heads need to have a meeting with their departments and say, okay, there's no more of this, everybody gets a raise across the board, we're going to this system. Y'all need to, you know, and here's the things you can do to be an outstanding employee, so that you're sure you get
and
the
once
max.
again, that's part of the reason, we're playing with the 3% number. Where we're at is we can implement the system very simply, this is not a big difficult situation. The biggest part would just be getting them done, which they can be done, that's, upper level staff can get it done in less than a week, that's not a problem. And then we would all sit down and, you know, we'll have a review process of that, of what they come up with, because we have to be careful, you know, like I said, we don't wanna see favoritism. That's the biggest issue that we're gonna have to deal with implementing this. But when it came down to it, and we started going, okay, where are we at in our budget, what can we afford to do, where are we going with it? We start playing with the 3% number. Okay, well, what are we gonna do, 2-1?
Well,
And then we're talking about 17 cents, and it's like, it
I have a question.
doesn't work right. Now, if we wanna talk quarters, and 50 cents and stuff like that, we can talk that, but that's gonna hit this budget.
go ahead, Commissioner Ayers, have a question.
Can we focus on one thing? We were talking now we're off the salaries again. Can we just focus on that?
I think we talked about Commissioner Davis asked a
I know,
question
but
about salary.
you're the boss.
Well, if we can go back to health. Well, we're gonna talk about health for a couple of minutes and make a decision. Commissioner Briggs and I said where we stand, we're good with 100% and then the 70-30 on the other categories.
Now, if we went 70-30 on the, for everybody, what's the difference for the single? You have for 100% listed for the single, but not for the 70-30. Is there a savings for him at all, or her?
Well, it's gonna cost them more.
It costs them more.
Yeah, right now. it's
Right now,
not-
they're paying 80%, they're only paying 20%, so you're gonna make.
Oh, I got you.
30%.
So
And it's almost, the premiums are almost the same, you're going 648 to 625, so
So he's
they're
gonna
gonna
go
be
to
an
20.
increased cost to the employee.
And then that 17 cents.
And our monthly, we're gonna
That 1% comes into play.
what's our monthly go down for us?
What did you say the monthly is currently?
The month,
For the employee coverage?
It's at the end here.
currently they pay 64.84 per pay
No, but
period.
what's the city's cost monthly? 625, 625.
6220,
I'm sorry,
6,220 for the.
but what's the monthly? That's the.
Oh,
annual.
518.
518.
518
What
for
we roughly got.
single. And 30% versus 20%, so.
They would go to 93.79 versus 64.84 per pay period.
93.79. And multiply that by 26 pay period,
24.
24, multiply it by 24.
$2,251.
Last year, how much was a single employee paying?
64.84.
$64.84 for the year.
No, per pay period.
Per pay period.
24 pay period.
And how much is that?
$1,556.
For last year? And that was it, 64?
80-20.
80-20. So basically this year, if we paid 100%, then he would have the same cost.
Say that again?
He'd have this, that individual would have the same
They would have
cost.
no cost. They would no cost. They would save 1,556.
It would say, yeah. If we go to pay 100%, the employee pays nothing.
Instead of having a deduction, they don't
I
have
got
it.
Okay, I got you. I got you. I could have extrapolated that.
So if I take the 1,556 divided by 2,080, that's where I get the 75 cents.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the 80-20.
However, that becomes taxable income.
That's right.
So they won't see the actual 75 cents because they would be charged whatever tax bracket they are on that, so it would come down some for taxes. So their federal tax line would go up.
Yeah,
For the 100%.
yes, for
Yeah.
that.
So you want to see the true 75 cents on your net
Yeah.
pay, yeah, that's on your gross pay.
Yeah. Does that help you decide?
Once you understand what's going on, and next year, there is a $750 decrease in your taxable amount of income for a single, by the way. So it will put that in half.
That's to be seen yet.
No, it is, it's not to be seen, it's in law. I went through and researched all this. Single's gonna get $750 a year. In fact, that starts this year, in 2025. And a married couple, we get an extra 1,000, extra 1,500 in their deduction. Now, that's not all taxes, that's all your taxable amount, so,
That's in your standard deduction.
yes, ma'am. what they're also gonna do next year is expand the 10% bracket, they're gonna make it bigger, and the 12% bracket, gonna make it bigger. And the 22% brackets, the next one up, it will be bigger by whatever the normal amount is. So for me, at the 24% bracket, that's a 3.5% decrease in my taxes next year. So that's pretty large.
That's all individual based, and
That's
that's
individual
that has
based.
nothing to do with our budget.
Right.
That's no cost savings to the city.
It-
I'm glad you're making that much, I'm quite different than that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, it does.
Been a long time
employees.
since I've been on that 24% bracket.
Yeah.
But what the employees make or lose on their taxes has nothing to do with the city, and we won't get credit for that.
No, we don't, but the employees do. And it gives them a large pay raise next year. And a little bit this year, about 1% this year because of the base deduction. Yes, continue. Childcare next year, or the child deduction is going up to 2,200. And that's quite large.
And by the way, while you're bringing all that up, Sandy and I were getting a $12,000 increase in our deductibles.
Yeah, because you're both over 65.
But it has nothing to do with this.
What you make as a commissioner,
It should have something.
well,
And we should think about that for next year, because it does reduce, it does increase our employees' pay. Because
well, no,
they're
it
in
doesn't
that
increase
low
their
bracket.
pay. It doesn't increase their pay. It might decrease their taxes, but it doesn't increase their pay. We don't know what anybody's situation is to know what's gonna happen with their taxes. But that, getting back to, we've kind of got off topic again, we still need to make decisions about health insurance. So,
Hey, clerk,
we need to take a real quick break for, does anybody else need a quick break before we? We need to make a decision on health insurance, cause we're halfway through our meeting time. We've not got into the budget.
I voted for me one.
Okay, you go.
Whenever we come back, I'm in 70-20 in this.
70-30.
70-30.
Keep it straight.
That's all right. I can stand correction there once in a while.
But if we do 70-30 on the individual, that's gonna cost them more.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody else will be getting a decrease, but it'll cost them more.
Well, still, single employee, 100% paid.
Yeah, and then, yeah, and 70-30 on everybody else, okay? So you and I are on that one.
We'll have to bring the handbook back,
Yeah,
and we'll make it.
but we can do that at our meeting, right?
Yeah, we'll bring the handbook back, y'all. I mean, we'll adjust it so that it's not specific. We'll just say it'll be set by
There you go.
the budget, approved by the commission.
Well, since there's two of us, does anybody else agree with doing 100% pay on the employee and 70-30 for the employee only, and 70-30 for any employee plus coverage?
I'm for that.
That's what I said, there's two of us. Are you in favor of doing 100% for the employee and 70?
70-30 for the board.
Okay, do you wanna do 70-30? You wanna do 70-30? I hate for the individuals to end up paying more when everybody else is getting a reduction.
That is why we put that in there.
Well, Commissioner Pelletier, what do you say?
give me a headache.
Well, I know, what do you say?
All
I got
this stuff-
Evelyn in the truck.
I don't have any problems probably, but I wanna talk about, you know, we'll talk about pay increases after, but we need to negotiate on that pay increases, okay? I don't wanna punish the single employee, and that's what we're doing with 70-30 across the board.
Exactly.
And because the dependents right now, I mean, I don't know how many single, and I don't really care how many single employees we have in the city, it's none of my business. But a single employee will end up paying more, because we're paying 80-20 right now, so we're gonna go down to 70-30. And so the single employee is gonna pay more, and I don't think, I wouldn't have any problems leaving it at 80-20, but, you know, I don't, definitely do not support a 70-30, the simple fact that we're making them pay more. And, I think, you know, they got good benefits now. I do agree that a lot of employees do look at those benefits. Me, I didn't care because I've got health insurance anyhow, but that's me. But I'm talking about employees that work for our city. On the other hand too, you know, I just think that I personally don't support the 70-30 for the simple fact that we're putting a bigger burden on our single employee.
Okay, real quick, point of order. They're talking 70-30, but 100% of individuals.
I know. But
The 70.
they're talking, these two are talking 70-30 across the board.
Okay, what are
Yeah,
you talking?
Scott, and that's why I
I'm
said,
just talking.
well, but that's, I mean, that's what we're kind
I
of.
don't support the
because-
100%, 70-30,
I'm flexible.
100%,
I think
30-30.
it should be less than 100%, but I'm
I'm
flexible.
okay with 80-20, but I don't wanna do a 70-30 because it's too, we're penalizing the single employees.
But you don't wanna do the 100% for the.
If we do the 80-20, we're still penalizing the single employee. I believe after all this discussion about insurance, am I correct with saying that?
That's correct, that's why we propose paying 100% for the employee and 70-30 split on the employee plus coverages.
Yeah, cause we're still paying way more on the employee plus coverages than it's gonna cost us to do 100% of that individual.
And at the end of the day, after all this discussion, the cost to our taxpayers is no greater,
No,
correct?
no.
Correct.
It's not, you
The
figure
difference
it out
So we as taxpayers are not paying more if we go at 100%.
for the employee.
100% plus 70-30.
The difference based on the way people are is $6,000.
So we're not paying any more money out of our tax dollars to give the single employee 100%.
You're shifting the cost from the employee plus coverages to the employee.
Do we need to do this in a motion?
Well,
No,
I think if we have consensus.
I was
of
asked,
three of
and
them,
I wanted to make sure, you know, that in my mind, I'm concerned about the dollars that the taxpayers are paying.
Exactly, which is why I focused on how much will we pay in this year compared to what we pay next year.
But to penalize a single employee, I don't know, do we have a number, how many singles?
38.
38 employees,
Yeah, that's-
probably, you know, half of them will say, okay, we're walking, we're gonna go to Panama
See,
City.
that's it.
And we're gonna go to Lynn Haven, we're gonna go to wherever, because they're gonna get a little bit better insurance.
Well, and a lot of our employees are of the age that they're gonna look at the benefit of having health insurance, where sometimes you're real young people that just start out, they don't see the value of benefits. But I think most of our employees see that value.
So they get in a motorcycle accident, you don't have it.
So I'm concerned
We've
about
had
the
this,
overall tax
we
dollars.
have had employees that have come in and they've said, I don't want health insurance because they don't have to have it anymore. They took that $100 and
They only get the $100 if they prove they have coverage.
That's what I was gonna say,
Yeah, that's right.
they can't just opt out.
So I'm okay with doing the 100% and 70-30 on the rest, but the simple fact that it's not increasing the cost to our taxpayers.
That's it,
Okay, I'm for that.
and I'm for that, so
Okay,
that's
so-
three of us. So I don't think don't you just need direction, I don't think you need a
No,
motion.
we just make sure our models are right.
Yeah, so they just need three of us to agree. And
Because there's
three of
no
us-
cost to us, our taxpayers, and that's what I'm concerned about.
That was my concern too, that, I mean, I want it to be good for the employees, but I want it to be good for our citizens.
Right.
And there's no cost if our employees take the insurance,
Period.
not have other insurance.
Right, there's no cost to take the insurance, period.
not for a single employee.
Right,
They-
for a single.
We shouldn't say single employee, but they choose single coverage. Because they could be married and still take single
That's
coverage.
right.
Yeah,
And if they have coverage somewhere else and they prove they have coverage and do not want our insurance, they get $100 stipend per month, run through payroll.
An hour and a half and we've made a decision. Okay, so I think we've settled health insurance.
okay.
So now I think we wanted to talk more about pay.
Talk more about raises.
You go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Understand what
about-
Bonnie's saying, you know.
Just so, and just so everybody knows, the budget that you're presented, that's what's in the budget.
Right.
So there's no change.
The 100% and the
Correct.
70/30,
Right.
and it's also got the 3% raises
Correct.
across
Yeah,
the
yeah,
board,
that's the first.
except for the fire department.
The fire department, $2 per person.
I think the fire department, I'm gonna keep my comments to myself as far as, I always thought that they should get paid more because of the mission, but everybody else has a good mission too, but anyhow.
And as David said, just, I want to let everybody know, the sheriff's contract expires this year.
Yeah.
So we are bringing a new contract at the next meeting. But it was a 5% raise.
Right.
So we
5%.
anticipate it will just include that 5% increase.
Yeah,
It
that's
does.
included in the
Yeah,
budget.
we already have it.
Okay, good. So you bring that to us at the next meeting?
Yeah, it'll be on the agenda.
Okay,
Just didn't want y'all to know, we talked about this and now, it's,
we're good.
that's what's in the budget.
Okay. Okay, what did you want to say about?
I'm still hung up on merit, increases, and the city manager can do it, and I know it's 12 cents or 15 cents, but, I went back, I have an issue with the city manager increase again this year, and I'll tell you why. Lynn Haven city manager right now, the salary is $152,000. It's a much bigger city.
They don't have a city manager.
They don't, but that's the salary.
152, I thought it was 158.
Well, what's published is 152.
Okay,
Okay.
and she was not doing that.
And we're talking about cost of living. Do you really think that our city managers have an issue with cost of living at $158,000 a year?
Well,
That's,
I
the
don't know.
average salary in Bay County is in the mid-30s, 40s,
Well,
average.
is your bottom line, you don't think he should get a raise?
I don't support it. I didn't support it last year, I don't support it
Well,
this
he
year.
didn't get a raise last
I know.
year, he declined.
I know.
I don't think it's fair.
Is your assessment there based on what the other cities are doing?
Well, it's
For
based,
example, Lynn Haven, you brought up Lynn Haven. If you bring up Lynn Haven, let's see, they have additional people that are doing the,
They have
well,
project manager.
he had an assistant manager and he decided he didn't want it. Okay, so we moved it down to, Public Works. So it's not, in other words, we as a commission, way back before I left the commission, we had established an assistant manager position. So let's not get into what they have and don't have.
But his assistant manager, she was an assistant to the
Administrative
city manager,
assistant.
was
We don't have an
administrative.
assistant
She wasn't gonna go out and do project management and grant writing.
Well, that was the intent of the initial position.
Well, it never was that. I mean, I was coming to meetings when Judy White was still the city manager, and that assistant, Sandy Hurth was the assistant. I know she wasn't doing project management or any of that kind of stuff.
The position, when I got here, the position was an administrative assistant.
Right.
And that's what the job description.
It was, and that's that, it was not an assistant city manager, I've never.
Well,
No.
I'm not gonna get into my personal feelings about it. I don't support a pay raise for the city manager. You all can vote the way you want to. I don't support it. Okay? I got a whole bunch of other reasons, but I'm not gonna bring that up here at the meeting. I'll discuss it with him at one-on-one. So, you all can do whatever you wanna do. I'm just saying is that I don't support an increase. I believe that we're paying him sufficient salary, plus benefits, plus, a vehicle, allowance, that maybe we should be looking at getting him a vehicle. The amount of money we pay out and have paid out in the last 10 years on allowances for a vehicle, we would pay for that vehicle at least went over.
I don't know, but $400 a month, do you think that's gonna pay for a vehicle? And he's still gonna, if we provide buy the vehicle, he's gonna be gassing it at city
Right.
expense.
I'm just throwing that out. I'm just saying that it's gonna not work out. But I don't support the pay raise. I didn't support it last year. I don't support it this year. I'm looking at what the average person in this county and people out there are making, and I think we're paying the city manager a good salary. And we're talking about cost of living. Surely he's not being hurt by, cost of living, by not giving him a pay raise, and that's my opinion.
Well, does anybody else want to discuss that since you brought that up? I feel like he deserves a raise. He does a lot for the city. He did not take a raise last year, and he declined it when discussion came up. We didn't even have to make a decision. He declined the pay raise.
I mean, we couldn't even, in prior city management, we couldn't even get grants considered. Not only do we have grants considered, but we have grants that are actually, made functional by our current city manager, which prior city managers couldn't necessarily do. And as far as the city managers in the other cities, they have grant writers and other people that are fulfilling those functions, which if you wanna add everything that the other cities are doing in personnel that are doing, compared to what he would be doing, if you wanna add them, we'd actually need to double his salary probably. Because of what we're getting now as opposed to what it's costing other cities to get.
I don't think that our city manager's writing grants. We have a person doing grants. Is that correct, city manager?
No, he does the grant.
He's writing the grants.
He sometimes gets them out for the engineers and they don't
Right.
charge for
Yeah,
that.
everything comes back, and I do final review.
That's what I'm saying, but you're not writing grants from scratch.
I have, but most of the time, there's gonna be technical aspects of everything, but they come back because a grant. I would tell you how these grants work, it's very simple. How well you sell your city. That's what it's all about.
So
So,
Grants is
summaries
one
and
thing,
stuff,
though.
everything else, yeah.
that's just my opinion. Y'all have your own opinion. I just don't support it.
I support a raise, because he didn't get a raise last year. And I know maybe the average person in Bay County makes X dollars, but they don't do the job that he does. I mean, you have to look at it by job. The average person in Bay County isn't responsible for overseeing a staff of 75, 80 people, whatever.
So is this a foregone conclusion, it's gonna be 3% for the whole, for everyone?
We haven't
We
decided
haven't
yet.
decided that.
We
He
talked
just brought
salary.
up city manager,
Right.
so I wasn't really prepared to talk city manager right then. I thought we were
Yeah, that's
deciding
fine.
on the 3% or whatever, but since he brought it up, I'll just say, you didn't get a raise last year, I think you should get a raise this year.
I think we put the cart before the horse, I think we should talk the overall percentage
Yeah,
first.
I'm fine with that. Like I said, it was brought up, so I was
Yes,
just,
ma'am.
but if you wanna go back and discuss, because we don't have to do the 3% on him. He and Ashley are not really considered the regular employees, that's the staff that's under him. So if you wanna talk about salaries in general, go ahead.
It's gonna make you upset, but there is a big benefit coming next year from the federal government. And I think that should be taken into consideration and help save our taxpayers money.
Well, well,
You want me to go down the list?
are we talking the same thing you already taught?
Some of it, but yes. Next year, we were supposed to have an increase in our taxes, a 3% increase for everyone. And because of the new tax bill, that got eliminated for the next 4 years. That makes a difference.
So what are we talking, a 3% increase in what taxes?
Your base taxes. Do you do your own taxes?
Yes,
Next year.
I'm an accountant, but what are you talking about?
What is your tax percentage?
I don't know, and that's really nobody's business.
Right.
I mean, I don't need to that's not anybody's business what my tax
Tell me.
rate is. But, I mean, you're saying a 3% increase, what, I'm gonna pay 3% less, is that what you're saying?
You were going to pay 3% more next year.
And now they're gonna, okay, I'm gonna pay more.
You were going to pay.
Okay, and now
you're
what?
not going to because they extended the pay cuts for 4 years.
Well, so that's not gonna be any different.
What does any of this have to do with the city?
Like I said, we don't know people's pay rate, you know, their tax rate, and we're not gonna ask them. But,
You know,
I'll give you my minute.
you know basically what everyone's gonna be.
I have no idea what any of these people pay in taxes, because I don't know how much money they make. We might know how much they make from the city, but we don't know what other sources of income they may have. They may have a wife that makes a lot of money and puts them in a higher tax bracket, so you can't just assume they're in a low tax bracket because of what the city pays them.
All the tax brackets from 12% up, it's only taken 3%. Maintain the 3% less than what they were going to be.
Well, but
12%
still,
is
that's,
gonna be 15,
But that's-
22 is gonna be 25,
but
24
that's
is
got
gonna
nothing,
be
you
28.
can't look at that when we're deciding what people are gonna get paid. If you wanna use that as a basis for you, I don't wanna muddy it with all of that. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I think that's just muddying the situation.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the city and let's talk about, you know, what our salary structure is for the city. You know, people may have a 10% interest rate on their home mortgage and, you know, that kind of thing. I don't care. It's
That's their-
nothing to do with
Commissioner,
me.
that's
and the
their
city.
choice.
Pardon?
That's their choice.
Right, but it has nothing to do with.
I
the
didn't
city.
say it did.
Well,
You
let's-
did.
Let's don't talk about that, let's just deal with the city,
Then let's do it.
okay?
What is our percentage rate based on? Is it merit, or is it, cost of living?
Primary cost of living.
Cost of living, because cost of living was
This year, we
2.7
covered
and
the
it's
cost of
free.
living properly. In fact, we gave them more than cost of living this year, because it's down to 2.7. We gave it 3% last year, right?
Did we do
Well,
3%
3%.
last year?
75 cents, 75 cents.
75 cents or 3%, so some people technically got more than 3% if their income was
So
lower.
next year, if the cost of living is negative, do we take money back?
No, you would never take money back, but you would also, first of all, cost of living, at least in my lifetime, has never been negative.
Yes, it has.
Pardon?
Yes, it has. There's certain periods where it does go down.
Were you even born then?
Yes.
Well, if cost of living goes down, no, we're not gonna take money back, but that may
No.
mean that we adjust our percentage increase, because there's more to it than just cost of living. So,
You don't like the 3%, what do you prefer? What are you thinking? Forgetting the rest of the world, let's look at Callaway,
you know,
what are you thinking as far as,
I'd like to protect the taxpayers more. I would like to keep it where it is. We'll go ahead and do the health care. That gives them a pay raise there, and go from there.
and not do any pay raise?
No, I'd like to also lower the ad valorem to 2.7. If you're asking what I'm thinking.
We're getting off topic then. So you would rather do no pay raises
No pay raise.
at all, including the fire department?
No, fire department's different.
Well, that's still people that work for the city, so we're just trying to keep them
Well, the fire
competitive.
department is a base raise that the city
Yeah.
manager told me. That's different than the percentage raise.
but it's still a raise. I mean, we could say all the employees get $1. We've done that in the past, $1, $2. But no, I have no problem with the fire department getting their $2 raise because we're trying to be competitive with the other cities so that we don't have the turnover, and Chief indicates that that will help us keep our staff, so I'm fine with that. But I don't feel like nobody else should get a raise. I don't think that's fair to the rest of our employees who work hard and do a good job. And cost of living, what it is, it still costs a lot to go to the grocery store and buy food. It costs a lot to fill up the gas tank. Gas may not be $4 a gallon, but it's still not cheap. You know, it still costs people a lot of money, so I feel like our employees need a raise.
If our employees deserve a raise, there's pay raise, and that's up to their separate units to give them a pay rate chance.
It's actually up to the city manager, and even that doesn't always, I mean, we still have to.
It still has to be in the budget.
That's it, we still got to say, okay, you've got this much money to play with. So we've either got to set a dollar amount or a percentage for them to work off of and say, okay, we've got this much money for this department, how are we gonna allocate this, which can be difficult. And even based on what you wanna do, you don't wanna do any raise, so you're not gonna wanna give them a pot of money to work with.
You give them pot of money to work with, and I thought we had that already with the city manager, that he could give step increases.
It's gotta be in the budget. He can't give money that we haven't budgeted.
He doesn't have a pot of gold.
No.
I didn't say that.
It's gotta be in the budget.
Anytime you see something like that, it's basically, you may have a position that's, wasn't filled for 30 days, so that amount is.
So all promotions in the city have to be approved by the council?
No.
No.
No, I don't have a dollar money for it.
A lot of times the money comes from a vacant position, a step grade, they know there's room in the budget because of those kind of issues.
Because the
We
position
don't-
hasn't been filled, but
We don't
because
budget a dollar amount
then the
for,
position's not fully funded anymore.
no, the position, well, the position's been vacant for several months, so if you give one person a quarter or 75-cent increase, it eats part of that up, and then when the position still exists, but they're not gonna be there for the whole year, so you don't need the full amount of money. That's where the increases come during the year, if something happens. We've constantly got vacancies in departments, well, not all departments. Finance, HR, city manager,
No,
city
no.
clerk,
City Hall, we don't usually have too many vacancies.
utility billing is about the only one that
Yeah.
has some vacancies with. The chief has had two this recently. We went for a year almost without any. Sewers had several vacancies for, this is the first year that I've been here that we actually have a full sewer department. Now the water department's down 4 people. So it jumps all over the board. It's across the board. If you don't wanna go 3% or percentage, I think the employees actually deserve a raise, and even if, I don't agree with the dollars that we're throwing out, because it gets to be, but if we would say 50 cents across the board, and then a pot of gold for merit increases that we would put in, another 1% to cover merit, or 2% to cover merit. That way everybody gets some cost of living. They might be able to buy a half a loaf of bread,
Exactly.
but at least they would get something for their dues and putting in their time in the city.
They actually do sell half-worth bread.
Yeah, no, they do that, yeah.
It's a half-worth.
Yeah, but you get 2 ends in there, I never figured that out.
It makes the best sandwich. That's cheap.
What
I
does
mean, we have a lot of
anybody, you know
options
where
here.
Commissioner Ayers stands, what does anybody else think?
I'd like to solve this pay raise, so maybe we can get into this budget,
Yeah, maybe we get a little bit.
because I've got like,
We can do equipment maybe.
yeah, it'd be nice. I said what I said, as far as pay raises, I would have hoped that what was brought to us this year be on merit, and again, I don't wanna give in, but, I don't have any problems with, what the rest of the commission decides, whatever you two decides, I'll support.
Well, like Commissioner Briggs said.
As long as we don't go to the far end.
Well, one of the things that Commissioner Ayers was concerned about and really bringing up the things I said we shouldn't even be considering, but that involves people on the top end. Top end of the city, the higher salaries in the city, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, instead of 3%, we could say 75% across the board, and that covers the,
You're talking about 75 cents? 75 cents.
75%.
oh, that, what did I say?
You said 75%.
I told you last meeting, you keep correcting me, because occasionally I stick my foot in my mouth.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that, I was just taking notes.
It's being recorded, isn't it? Teresa's recording it.
If you want a.
So anyway, I mean, we could potentially do that, because that would, you know, be the same for the people that are
Everybody would
$15
get the
or
same
less.
rate.
Well, I have no problems with 50 cents. You're talking 75 cents, right?
Well,
This is exclusive.
that would,
That's $50,000 difference in our budget,
yeah,
50 versus 75. That's $50,000 less.
75 cents is 146,000.
I know, but 97,000.
And 3% is 140.
No, we're
So
talking
70
cents, not percentage.
Well, I'm just saying that the
That's
difference.
the comparison.
The comparison, if I do 3% across the board, it has 140,000, 75 cents is 146,000, so 75 cents is more. If you go a 50-cent increase, this does not include the fire department, by the way, these numbers are strictly everybody but the $2 raise. 50 cents is 97,000,
All right, I'm looking at the figures.
so
It's
that
a
would save them
difference
$48,000.
Yeah, the difference almost 50 grand. And you know what, Mayor will remember, we went 5 years without pay increases way back when. I
Exactly. We
keep
went a
on
long time
talking
to
about
do-
that. When we started pay raises a few years back, our goal was to get everybody over 15. Everybody's way over 15 now,
Well,
okay? That was our goal,
I don't think
and
they're
we've
right over
exceeded our
15,
goal.
right?
Well, I've asked for that, I've got that information.
Okay.
We do have some people at 16, 16, 15.
Yeah, 16 is,
15, so there are some still down there. The majority of the staff is probably 17 and above.
right.
yeah, and,
There's nobody under $15 an hour. Well, there's one person, well, that's a firefighter.
He's a brand new firefighter that's not certified. Once he gets his cert, he'll bounce.
Pretty well, everybody is at $16 and $17 an hour. Okay. So our goal was 3-4 years ago to get to 15.
Well, because of the law.
Right.
That was coming.
It goes to
And the law
15
doesn't
next
even
year.
go into effect yet.
And we're at 14 right now. Minimum wage is 14.
Right.
It goes to
No,
15.
it won't go into
20
effect.
Next, 2026, it will come to 15.
But every employee we have exceeds that by $1 or $2.
so what we're doing on the healthcare, plus if we just went to 50 cents,
Right,
I'm not opposed to that.
right. I was thinking more 50 cents than 75. I don't wanna I just wanna make sure that next year when we're up here again, cause fortunately for the city manager, I got 3 more years, that we do a merit increase.
We're gonna do merit next year.
Don't bring us a budget that doesn't have
We're
merit
gonna do merit next year.
on pay raises.
We went to a merit-based system at the airport, so I have some good ideas for you.
There you
So
are.
I'll get with you.
Probably not gonna be percentage based, we'll probably have to roll it on
But
select limits.
I'll get with you because I helped implement that, so I'll get with you and
So I'll give in,
we'll make sure that
which I don't like,
you don't like giving in.
I do have a heart, sometimes.
So what are y'all deciding now we should do?
Well, I think 2 of us are thinking 50 cents,
50 cents for everybody,
right?
except the city manager, I guess.
Except for
Those.
those salary employees, I guess, right? Is that what we're talking
No,
about?
I mean, salaried employees
Because they're still on the 2,080, and while their salary otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you're only gonna, at 50 cents, you're only gonna get $1,000, that's all in, that'd be 1,040. So I mean, are we saying everybody, including the city manager and the
So we
city
didn't
clerk?
cover that line, moving the fire department starting salary.
Starting, we
Fire
already got,
department, we're
fire
not talking about
department is
them no
getting
more.
$2.
Yeah, it's $2.
except for the chief and the deputy,
Yeah.
then they can give them 50
It's
cents.
up to me, I give them $6.
No. 2 is what they asked for.
I'm sure they will take more, but I don't believe the budget can afford 6.
No.
You know, I have
You're
this,
wanting to save money for the citizens,
Right, I know,
doing
I
$6 an hour.
I also look at, you know, I know we all have a mission, and I keep on talking about fire department. Every mission in the city is important, but I look at it as a senior citizen that something happens today, I know the fire department's gonna be there. I can't rely on an ambulance, cause I've seen many, many times, 20 minutes later, and I'm already dead. At least I'm alive, the fire department gets there.
Depends on how we figure this out. Oh, we've already taken care of the fire
The fire
department.
department's taking care of it.
Good.
I'm not about my threshold.
Code enforcement may show up next day or 2 days from now. So we do the 50 cents or 75 cents, or just going ahead
I'm
with
okay
the
with
3%?
I'm okay with 50 cents.
I just assume do the 3%, but if there's nobody else that wants that, then I'll.
Well, you got 0 here.
I got 0,
Right.
we got 50
Commissioner
cents.
Davis, you're not talking. Where you at?
70/30 on insurance, free for the single.
No,
Oh, we're done with insurance.
we're done with insurance,
We're
we're
talking about
talking
payroll.
pay.
50 cents.
Okay.
So we got 3, say 50 cents, so. Yo, I wanted to give you more. But I guess we'll do 50 cents. Now, like I said, does that include the city manager and the city clerk? It includes department heads. Does it include the city manager and the city clerk?
Well, that's not what's in the budget.
No, it's not.
We can change, you're changing it right now, so.
Yeah, we're changing it to 50 cents, so that's what I'm asking. Is that include the 2
Well,
of
city
them?
manager and city clerk are not on, they're on a salary basis. Well,
There's other people that are on a salary,
Yeah.
but I'm still asking, because you said no raise for the city manager, but I'm asking, do we include him in the 50 cents? That's only $1,000 that he'd be getting, $1,040. And so, I mean, I feel like he and the city clerk also deserve a raise. They work hard. I see it. I'm at City Hall a lot. I'm on the phone with him a lot. I know he's working hard. I know Ashley's working hard. And I give Ashley credit. I probably ask her for more than anybody because of my different committees and stuff. But anything I ask her, if I say, would you print this agenda? Would you print these certificates for me to take to Tenda? Before I barely hit send when her or Jay says, it's done. So I appreciate y'all. So that's what I'm asking, so they know what to put in the budget. Can we at least include them in the 50 cents so they get something? You say yes? Y'all say yes? I know Commissioner Pelletier doesn't, because he doesn't want to do city manager. Is anybody else okay with city
That's
manager and
fine.
city clerk?
50 cents is fine.
50 cents, okay, so 50 cents for
That'll
everyone.
talk me into it.
Okay, 50 cents for everyone.
It's equal across the board.
Yeah, that's it, so everybody gets the same. That's right, boy, y'all can party tonight. Lunch on tomorrow.
You get you a whole loaf now.
You take that money right on down and get you a haircut.
So we got health insurance, okay, and it only took us 2 hours.
Right, that's
So,
not bad. Wait till we get to the rest of it.
well, should we do equipment, is that what you wanna do next? That's the first page.
We just clarified that we agreed to the shift change
Yeah.
and all the rates for the
Yeah.
fire department.
Yeah,
Yes.
fire department is never an issue.
I just wanna make sure that
Huh? Yeah, we'll take care of
Yeah.
it. Y'all better be ready next year, your budget's gonna be massive, because.
Tell them to get a ride on the fire truck, I don't care.
Anytime, sir. Anytime.
I'll put my truck in your budget.
You're probably gonna have a lot of people from other departments applying to be firemen.
Yeah.
Bring them on, bring
Just
them
so
on.
you know.
Bring them on.
I didn't like fire.
Job
Training coordinator. Training coordinator.
Training chief, right there.
Okay, would you like to do equipment?
We can talk about the fire department. That's the first one on the
That's
list.
the first one, we're up to page 2, everybody. Let's go.
We're making progress. I don't know about you all, but I've got 3 or 4 questions in the fire department.
Okay, we'll go ahead.
Always.
Do y'all want to say anything before we start with questions? If you have questions,
Yeah.
go ahead.
City manager, the 18 sets of bumper gear, is that to replace existing or give them an extra set?
Sounded like an extra set.
That's gonna be a second set. We
Second
did,
set, which I talked about,
yes.
all right? And the station alarm system, what are we doing with that? I'm just trying to understand it.
Yeah, it's a, let me go and just read what DC prepared for me. This new station alarm,
Who prepared it for you?
DC,
Who's DC?
Devin
Oh,
Chief here.
oh.
This is his administrative system.
Okay, well, District of Columbus here.
Yeah, just read. This new station alerting system would include a main alerting control box and speakers throughout the station. Of course, you know, we just had that big, paint job that was 15 years old. I was talking about the station there. Our speakers are just rattling to pieces.
So we have nothing right now?
Right now, we're working on pagers that are hooked to the system.
Okay.
So,
Analog system.
yeah, it's an analog system. I'll get to the,
Okay, I heard enough.
okay.
Thank you. I understand. I think we ought to have an alert system in the building versus relying on pagers. Because that's gonna be mine, I think that'll be activated by 911.
Yes, that's how we get our time.
So that way we don't have any issues, with pagers or whatever. The 3 portable radios, I thought we had all the radios we needed, so you're saying during emergencies.
Sir?
The 3 radios, you're saying during emergencies, what do we need by emergencies?
Just, building our stock. We purchased some last year, we're asking for 3 more this year, and that'll give us a total of 15 portable radios. We have 20 members
Okay.
on staff, so we don't have enough to give you out if we had another catastrophic event.
Okay, I saved the last one for last. City manager, I drove from the fire department, the other day to that piece of property, on both ways. Do you know it's only 2 miles? What is that gonna save us buying that land, 2 miles? It took me 4 minutes to get there by car, probably a car truck gets there in 1.5.
The biggest issue is we're dealing with where the growth of the city's gonna happen, which is gonna be out 22, towards 2297.
Yeah, I know, but
And also to the north. And we're looking at response times. And, you know, we've always been looking for land in that area that would meet our needs. And this has came up, I'll let the chief go out and do the evaluations on it. And Chief, I wanna let you speak on this too, on what the plans are.
what growth, city manager? There's no growth that side of town. The growth is all gonna be up in this area.
But you have to look at sectioning things off, and eventually the city, we're gonna have to have another station. And the question was, what is the location?
Why boat race?
And the chief, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, it's our south end. We're gonna actually go towards Calvin and Tina, towards Bayfront Apartments there. We're looking at, they want you to be there within 5 minutes, and we're still around 5:40.
So what, the boat race?
No, not the boat race, to the south end. We continue south from there.
When you say south end, where?
Bayfront
Southwest.
Apartments,
Okay.
Southwest.
Calvin
Which
and
is
Tina.
down on,
Ivy.
Common.
Yes.
Common.
Yeah, all the way down at the end there.
So what is it's been there forever, so what are you talking about? They're talking about, we need to be there within 5 minutes. What's driving that?
It's just the national standard NFPA.
But it's not hurting our ratings, correct?
It is on station disbursement, if you would, because we're just not able to get to that south end as fast. Like, you know, there's a reason why I'll say Miami-Dade. They basically judge it on population. It's not really, you know, I mean, so that's why we're asking, and, you know, talking with the city manager there, we're just trying to be proactive rather than reactive, because we know it's coming, and we're seeing it. We're seeing the calls
Well,
back.
there's not gonna be any growth in that area, because there's no place to grow.
It'll take some of the burden off, so these guys on this end can run.
Because there is growth.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
On
I know.
this end,
Yeah.
so that way they can respond to some of the ones that are closer in.
right.
So have we looked at other pieces of property? There's 2 or 3 empty lots down there that we don't have to spend all kinds of money trying to make. That we're gonna spend all that lot is so overgrown, we're gonna have to, I'm assuming there's still a building in there, I don't know, I didn't get out of my car.
There's not,
Building's gone.
But, how big is that, half an acre, an acre?
2 acres.
It's 2 acres? And do we have an appraisal on it
yes,
in writing?
yes,
Can you send that to me?
yes. The appraisal is for $135,000.
But that doesn't count the attorney fees and cleaning that we're gonna, how much is our attorney fees gonna be?
So,
We've got attorney fees involved with this, cause you
The
told me
attorney-
that she can't afford to probate the property.
all of that will come off the cost,
Off what cost?
135.
Okay, but you're not saying that in the budget.
You can't, you still have to budget it as a purchase. You want-
And then how about the cleaning costs?
Cleaning costs.
Well, we're gonna have to,
We,
it's a jungle.
we actually did the demolition.
I know, but it's still cost, if they're demoing that, we're not getting ditches, we're not getting stuff done in our city.
Well, they've already done
It's done, yeah.
Yeah,
The buildings are off of it. The
Buildings
land-
off.
the-
Needs some mowing.
Okay, I mean, you have to look at it in terms of, I'm not building a station tomorrow.
I know
This
this,
is gonna be for future, so when we go in and we start, we do have times where I can take a couple of guys, they can go down there, and we can start clearing. And we'll probably do the clearing in a house, just so we can get that whole area cleared up and cleaned up. The goal is to get the land first, and then we can go forward from there. Chief and them will probably start designing how the station's gonna look and how all that goes, but it's not, any of the things that we're talking about doing at this point forward, other than purchase of the land, that's not included in this budget, because we're not prepared to move on. We could actually go out there and leave it the way it is. There is one little bitty building there that we can take an excavator and have it tore down in an hour.
in my mind, I just couldn't figure out why we would put a fire station there when it took me exactly, it's only 2 miles from the existing fire station. And took us about 4 minutes to drive by car, which would probably be half that with a fire truck.
I agree. I was thinking on the other side of the.
I was thinking we
22
need to
right there is
be
up
somewhere
on the
else in the city
all
versus
in
that
the area
particular
there
piece.
for sale.
Although, if it's 2 acres,
Walgreens.
I guess I don't have any problems with that price for 2 acres.
And
Because that's pretty
there's
good.
nothing there now for sale except
Yeah.
that little corner.
But in my
And we do
mind,
have,
On the other side.
we have a lien on the property.
All that.
yeah, but who's gonna pay for the lien?
We will.
They're gonna come out of the 135?
Mhm.
We're
It comes
paying
back
for
to
it.
us. It's our own lien. It actually will come off the property.
It's our lien.
Yeah, it's our own lien, so it
we're
actually is
we're
coming
just gonna
back
write
to
that
us.
off, right?
No, they're
It'll come off the
It'll-
We still have to budget the expense,
Right, I
but
understand that.
that money will come back as a lien payment to the city.
I don't have any problems with the price, cause that's a good price for 2 acres. I think all of us should be driving and taking a look at this piece of property. The growth is gonna be at this end. I understand what Chief is saying. That has been here for 20+ years, okay? And all of a sudden, we need a fire department at that location. I think we should start, we as a commission, and I know that it's Chief's job, but I don't know if that's the right place for a fire station person, when it's only 2 miles for the existing fire station. Of course, he's saying that the response time to Bayfront, well, that's, that apartment building, that's just one apartment building. That's not where the growth is. It's been there since I don't know when.
It's just gonna take the load off this north end station that we're in now. What we plan on doing is dividing the city in half at Cherry Street there. To tell you the truth, that South Bertha location was awesome. It put me right in the middle of everything, but I just feel like the folks on the south end just don't get the same care as these guys on this end. and I wanna make sure that I'm able to respond. Seconds count in my business, so anything I can do to get closer to them.
Let me go ahead and jump in there too, I don't wanna say this.
Right, now you have a
I
log,
agree with him.
you have
I
a
agree
log
with
of
Mr.
where
Bellatier.
we're responding to, right?
We have that.
I can pull it.
Did you consider that when?
Yes, yes. I know, cause I've been approached before about property on the parkway. Even the parkway is a great artery, but
Right.
it's putting two of them on the north end, so I'm still running south. So, that's just my, recommendations to city manager. We need to do something to help the south end folks.
Well, I know the growth's gonna be, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
I think you're exactly right, sir, because that's why they put this station here on this end. They thought everything was gonna go, but it seems like everybody's wanting to go down the water now, so.
Well, there's nobody to go down, there's
Right,
nothing
right.
to build on the water.
Right. It
There's
feels
no
like,
property down
it was a
there.
cow pasture when this place was, our station that we're in now.
That property is a Y that they had the issue with the parking, they were gonna build apartments, and then that's for sale, isn't it? Still, or is there still the plan to put apartments there?
So I had a little meeting last week, they're still trying to negotiate with
With FPL.
Where's that at?
There at the Y, where the apartments.
right.
So I mean, there is some growth
Well, if it
in that
happens,
direction.
Well, here.
they're gonna come in front of us and ask for variance is what they're gonna do again.
But Commissioner Pelletier, I wanna say, whenever me and Chief started these conversations, which has been several years,
I know.
I'm the same as you, I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
But what he's talking about is the coverage areas, he can meet, right there, he can meet all the coverage that needs, so that this station will be able to handle once they do split.
what is that gonna do to Cherry Street, is that gonna be a little bit better for them, obviously, or?
What's that?
Well, Cherry Street, are you gonna set, I guess what,
We're just, if you're asking, if Cherry Street will be our divider, north and
Okay.
south, we'll just have dispatch, this engine responds north of Cherry, this house responds south,
right, and sometime both of them gonna do what? You're gonna have to go by priorities also. I
Yeah.
don't have any problems with the price, I just had this mental block as to why we wanna put a fire station there on that corner. Especially with a roundabout, there'll never be a guy out
Well, very honestly, I don't have a problem with this. I can see where we're going with it, understand what you're referring to, response time that way. But what I also realize, is we have quite a bit of development east. I know that, we're gonna be looking at this particular property affecting us south. We realize what's already out there north. But we know east, we're gonna have quite a bit that's gonna be, it's either developed east or will be developed east, particularly on the south side of Highway 22. The north side, we don't have anything with, but the south side, and then going on out all the way to Allenton. So actually, we're gonna need a fire station eventually. We're gonna need a fire station out there, because that's our service area.
there. We already have one. but
We
it's-
already have one, but we don't have a full.
You talk, that one out there at the bridge, the new Bridge County Bridge?
Yeah.
That's actually a county station.
Yeah,
It's unmanned, I get asked about it, it is a county station.
Good.
it's county.
And you're right, Commissioner, it's gonna be a never-ending race. You're always, as long as the city promotes itself and just grows and grows and grows, hopefully I'll be gone, and then that'll be the next fire chief's problem, to fill more stations.
Well, if we buy this property at 138, we might as well, over time, we're gonna end up having to figure another 2 million because of the building and the fire trucks and all they're gonna be involved
We
in.
already have the
So
fire
this
truck.
is just, we don't have the fire trucks for that.
Isn't the plan to move a truck down to this new
Yeah,
station?
whatever
Thank you.
position I'm in right now, and then we're gonna talk staffing, that's my next thing, is get with city manager and start applying for SAFER again, and doing that whole thing. Like the city manager said, this is not a tomorrow
Right,
deal.
Right.
This is, like I said, just be proactive rather than reactive when it's a, hey, let's, so, just my thoughts.
know, where the old station used to be, it wasn't nothing down there. Now the growth is down that way and everything that way, so, and they shipped over here, so it's farther to go down that way. It's just,
Yeah,
you know,
we still
before,
have,
when
we still have that vacant lot, so I forgot all about that vacant lot down there. That's just as close to, boat race, so why aren't we using that? We had a fire station there before.
no,
Where all the pies is.
Yeah,
Where
well,
new
well, that's
public
city.
works- Where
That's
new
crossing
public works building
Public Works.
one day.
that's hopefully where we're gonna put the public works building.
Yeah.
What's wrong with putting public works where public works is now and extending it out? You know, I'm saying is that we own the land right now. I think $135,000 for 2 acres is a good price, but why do we wanna spend $135,000 when we already have the land, which is only a block and a half from where he wants to be?
Chief, does that even work, that piece of property?
Which, our whole location.
It worked before.
It'll be
I would
close.
prefer to be further south.
But let's further south, chief, is you're talking less than a quarter of a mile.
I understand.
I mean, when you're talking, you wanna be further south, if you look at that piece of property versus being, on boat race, I'm sorry,
He's talking response time,
Yeah.
not mileage.
response time versus mileage doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, somebody's
He just
life
said
does.
that.
You know, it's not that far apart.
And, you know, and we're even getting more congested as a city, you know this. I mean, it's taking,
Lord, yes.
it's a delay to navigate, you know, to the south end. So, I would prefer to be further south.
It'd be faster to get the Bay Apartments off of the, Bertha, it would be coming out of that little corner on boat race.
And sir, I'm just using Bayfront as an example, you know, we do go further south, you know, if you
So you
take
use
Gay
it.
all the way down towards, you know, and all that good stuff.
Bruce.
It's a good price for property too.
Yeah, it is a good.
It's a good price for
I want them to
property.
be close.
Might buy it, get money.
I'm okay with that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, cause we can just use it for future development.
Okay,
Maybe
maybe.
it won't be the best place for a fire station, but it may be a good spot for something else.
Yeah.
It sounds like a really good
We're gonna get
price.
some money from it.
I don't have any issues with the price is
Yeah,
better
no,
than
but I'm
that.
just saying.
Yeah, so.
So we buy the property and call it for future development,
Yeah.
and maybe something better comes along
My
for a fire
public works
station.
on there.
Yeah.
If that's it, there's no telling what we might need down there.
Always sell it. It's a good investment, we always
I
sell
mean,
it.
we're gonna get it,
Get money back.
Is that over the roundabout?
I mean, it's gonna be less than 135 because of the things that come off, that won't be coming out of our
Hey,
pocket.
this will be quick response time to the roundabout accidents.
Under what budget?
Not really, no, it doesn't matter what we do.
Doesn't matter what we
It's all general funds, so.
General fund, so
That's
that's-
such a good deal, I think it's.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody's had an issue
Yeah, I'm-
buying the property, so we can buy it and not call it future, we can just call it for future development.
Yeah.
That's actually what we're labeling, we're labeling it internally as future development.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I don't have
might
any
need,
problems with the price, I
we
was just,
might need some sort of substation for something.
alright. That's all I had under fire department.
Well, does anybody else have anything under fire department? Okay, we're okay with fire department, we can move on to leisure services. You wanna go with the leisure services? So Brenton Thompson, sitting over there in the corner hiding.
Is he awake?
Alright.
He is now, I called his name loud.
All right. We are, you know, in the budget, we are asking for another groundskeeper. And that's what's in the budget, is a new position in leisure services.
Why?
I thought we got rid of it last year.
It's a horticulturalist.
Who?
Horticulturalist.
Weed man.
Weed man.
We don't have one now?
We have one,
We do.
it's not.
Did I need it?
Can't keep up with the weeds.
No.
Greg, come out there and sit down. That way.
The chief got stand over there.
Well, I know, but I know what he's gonna say. I don't know what you're gonna say. I need to be able to throw something.
With all the parks we had and stuff, I can see how there's a lot.
That's because we accepted that full park with all those weeds that we shouldn't have.
Hey, Gore Park's under control right now, so
That's
that's,
something, Gore Park's
Gore Park's looking good.
I didn't even notice, and I hate to say it, I've noticed some weeds out here, and this used to look like a golf course.
Yes, so,
I threw some seed out there because I got tired of watching Brent play putt golf out on the I said, we got
So
some
you
out
threw
there.
some weed
I threw
seed.
some weed seed out there.
so yes, we do have, currently have a horticulturist. That particular person also does multiple other duties within the city. So, he and I are, well, he and I are the two people who paint the ball fields using the robot. If we paint football, which we've been renting out the football field for substantially more this year, that's one person that it takes about a day and a half even with the robot. So that's a day and a half that he's not able to get out to Tyndall or to Veterans. And so that also falls on me. And I'm training other employees, I'm doing meetings like this. So we're asking for another position. That person will also be cross-trained on other items as well. So that will take some of the load off of all of us. We live in Florida. It gets hot, it rains, weeds pop. I mean, so, I'm down 4 staff members today, I'm down 5 tomorrow. So we gotta adapt.
Who is that person you got in that position right now, because I'm looking at
Tim Jackson.
And why are you using him only part-time, and you wanna get another one? Why are we not using him full-time doing that job, if he was hard to do
Because
that?
again, he was my former crew leader, so he knows how to do a lot of these things that some of these newer guys do not. So we have to have him cross-trained and do multiple things, or there are other things that might not get done.
At this point, it's really lack of personnel to do the job that we need to do.
I explained to Tim a few weeks ago when we were going over this, that the amount of property and the amount of additional items that we have to maintain has grown exponentially over the amount of staff that we've had. When I started, this area along the property line, it was all mulch. Well, all the grass is grown in, so that's 7 acres of finished mowing a week that we have to accomplish. The new things on Tyndall, we've got to accomplish that. Gore Park, just the sheer amount of weed eating and amount of mowing that it was added, amount of fertilizer, weed control that was added from when I started 4 years ago. It's a huge amount of addition. So that's why we created that position, but we've just not kept up with staffing to cover all that. Now, I want to get a phone call from city manager every other week about 2-foot tall weeds on Tyndall, then we can let that go. But I can't have, this one person can't cover every set of beds, including City Hall, all the high profile spots in town. So we're asking for another person. And it's a skilled position, so he is certified in putting out fertilizer, putting out weed control. That's not
what I
something.
thought. Don't just anybody can use.
Yeah, that's
all
not
the
something that
sprays
everybody in
and
our-
stuff.
But you're telling me, you're gonna use them in other areas, and the need is for specifically that, and I'm just,
Well, what I'm
listening
saying
to
is-
what you're telling me, and listening what the need is, and it makes no sense.
Well, what I'm saying is, if he has assistants, then I don't necessarily have to use him to paint the football field and be out a day and a half. That's something that I should be able to cover. But if I'm in the process of doing something else and he has to cover that, something else has to suffer.
How long did it take to paint ball field before we had the robot?
2 guys, about 2.5 days. And that does not include.
I have no problems with the robot, I'm just asking.
Well, that doesn't include painting the logo in Bowling Field.
Do we buy that robot, or we're still leasing it?
We're leasing it.
Anybody else with a comment about? And I that's in equipment anyway, and that's when we get to
Oh,
the.
city manager brought it up.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I wanted to go ahead and make sure that we covered that.
That's on page 21, we're still back on page 2.
Right.
I didn't look at it as far as capital, but in my opinion, or my personal capital, I need them.
So can we talk about equipment now?
Yeah, let's go back to the equipment.
Where is the, backup paperwork on that truck? You know, for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years now, I've been asking for paperwork. Maintenance records on it.
Oh, on the first one.
Yeah. There's no,
Probably the biggest one.
I think we missed it.
I know, that's all right, but I'd like to see that, please. And then, why do we put carpet on? Isn't it carpet a problem? Why don't we put ceramic tile or some type other than carpet? Carpet is not maintenance friendly.
What we're gonna do, well, number one, it's a noise issue. It's a sound
Good
buffering, that's one thing. But when we're talking about doing the carpet, they're gonna be the 2-foot squares, like we have it up in City Hall. So if we have a spill, we can pull a square and put another one back down. The carpet's just dilapidated.
You're talking about the ballroom, right?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna be here too?
Actually.
Is that room
Yeah,
10?
we're gonna do the whole entire building.
Yeah, so the,
Well, you're saying room 10, but you're saying, now you're telling me the whole building?
well,
I'm just trying to figure out.
Right.
What you guys put in justification and what you're doing, and what you're telling me doesn't match.
well, it says Callaway room is 10 years old. So it's been replaced in the past 2 years. This room, the Florida room, is the original carpet.
It's not saying room 10.
It's-
It says room 10 is 10 years
It's-
old. It's just
That way
a,
The carpet is
it's
10
such
years
small
old,
print.
these carpets are 21 years old.
Yeah, you can't, the print's so small, it's hard
Yeah,
to make out what it says.
I don't know why that print's so small.
I thought my iPad, so I can see.
Yeah, I think it blew up a copy it came to me that I can read now.
It was just, it was a mess up on print, it just didn't expand it out.
So yeah, it's not room 10.
Well,
It's 10 years
It's about time we do something with the pavilion, but I don't see a pavilion for this area. City manager, there's
He's
no,
got an
there's no.
amphitheater.
Pardon?
He's got an
Amphitheater.
amphitheater.
Not pavilion.
Oh, okay, I see.
There's a pavilion, by
Well,
a
yeah,
fishing
about
pond,
fourth item
and
down,
an
there's rec complex
amphitheater
for the-
up here.
Pond for the,
So, yeah, there's a rec complex pond pavilion, that's the 20 by 40
Right.
out. That's in there, and then,
I think that's good.
and so we've been exploring the, cost of an amphitheater.
Right,
And you could have expected to pay $400,000,
right.
but we're looking at doing the majority of the work in-house, and we think we can do it for $1 million.
I think it's a good thing, cause it's way overdue, and I think it would run out, and then, Christmas in Callaway is overgrown, we can't do that in here anymore. You know,
Yeah, we
I mean,
can
it's
expand
it's
out.
just, we need to expand out and do it somewhere else.
Agreed.
You know, matter of fact, back many years ago, pre-you, city manager, we used to do Christmas in Callaway outside. If you remember, Mayor.
But we didn't do very much.
When we had a tree out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had.
but we didn't do much either.
There's a
I
tree
came
out there,
a
but
few
it's
years,
not gonna
we
live much
come,
longer.
we do the sandbox dinners, we light the tree, and basically everybody would leave, cause there really wasn't anything going on, so. It's a big event now, cause we do a lot of stuff, so.
The overflow parking, is that by the, when we talk asphalt parking lot near overflow, East overflow, what are we talking about? Where's that? That $80,000, where's that?
That's down by Ola. That's down by Ola.
Is that gonna be used, you think? It's so far away from everything else, do you think it's actually gonna be used for parking?
it really isn't if you just walk across the practice field.
I'm sorry?
If you just walk across the practice field, if you're right at the football field, or you could be in the back of the baseball field, so it's not.
To me, I'd rather see the $80,000 invested down here by how sorry all of this is going out towards the fishing pond and all that good stuff. You got all that dirt, all that stuff that, you know, and in my mind, that'd be money better spent than down here on the, you know what, I'm talking about out here,
The parking?
The parking at soccer, like the soccer.
Yeah,
field.
it's terrible.
Alright,
That whole area is terrible.
that's a very, very touchy subject,
Yeah,
we
we
can
don't
talk
wanna
about
get
that after the
into it.
meeting.
We
That's-
don't wanna get into it.
Well, we don't necessarily have the options of what we can do with that.
It's under the power.
It's under, and Gulf Power
It's not
sold
our,
that
it's
easement.
not our land.
Gulf Power sold that easement after Hurricane Michael, and now it's owned by Duke Energy. Duke does not play very well.
So we're putting a pavilion on property we don't own?
No, we're
That's
talking
not
about
where
the
the
parking
pavilion
lot.
I know
Just
what
the
pavilion
parking
is
lot.
now, okay.
Yeah, that pavilion is on our property, yeah, on farther down, yeah.
We're not looking for these.
No,
Now, we may be able to do something there, but we don't necessarily wanna invest in the asphalt side of it.
In fact, Commissioner, after this meeting, if.
Go around up Cherry Street, we could have them dump it out down there.
If you want to, Commissioner, I would invite all y'all to go down and check the parking. We actually did a project last week,
Okay,
where we used the same equipment that we used in the cemetery on the roads and stuff, because they were we took the same piece of equipment and there was added some dolomite, and actually now it's very flat and very smooth.
That's what they were doing today. I
That's what they're doing it.
that's fine. I haven't been up here, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'll go up and see it, not today, but, cause unfortunately after this meeting, I've got a dog that needs to be walked.
So I think when you go down and you see what we've done,
Yeah, I'll go
you'll
look
actually
at
be impressed with how it looks now. And we're going to maintain that as such from now on. Because it's just, we don't have many more options in that area. Now, to pave that, I mean, I will say, it was mentioned after we did that project, we need to pave this. We put it in there. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been talking with Tim, I think this number's too low. And I've been trying to get,
You're talking about,
the
down,
80,000. I think that
with
number's
that
too
little
low.
area, 80,000 is too low?
You also gotta remember that to pave that whole entire section, we would also have to extend the road down too, so there's gonna be paving on the road
Do
section.
we own that road? And how much property
We
do
do
we own
partial,
on the other
I
side?
can just do 80,000 for it.
How much property do we own on the other side of that road?
We don't.
I thought we owned a property on that side. Cause somebody wanted to buy it, and you said you had plans for it.
Well, that's the property that's on
I'm talking
the
about.
west side of that,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, that property belongs to the gentleman, he's actually gonna build a house there, that has the house at the end of that road, he's planning on building on that.
You owned all the way to the water?
He owns to the
Yes.
water. We own the right of way from the road all the way to the water,
Okay.
and then everything in Gore Park.
If you've gone over there, there's a concrete stake there. And he owns everything on the west side of
Is
that.
he gonna open a car repair, since
He
he's got
could.
that lift there and all that?
I don't know. You might.
Well, that's pretty well all I want to talk about, but I definitely wanted to see the maintenance record on that truck.
I've made a note to get with Felix.
Okay.
Anybody else wanna talk anything about user services requests?
Concerning page 2 only, but
Yes, concerning page 2,
We're
the
still on page
equipment,
2 yet.
the equipment and capital projects.
Did I do change this thing?
We good?
Anybody? If we wanna go on to street. We could do a couple street, I wanna stop in time that if we have anybody in the audience that wants to say anything before our 4 o'clock adjournment. So we should have time to do street.
Alright, street, we have a drum roller right now.
Oh, we missed water.
No, streets before water.
I'm gonna get you a magnifying.
Yeah,
No.
because we've got leisure services and then street.
Okay, I'm looking at the agenda online.
Oh,
One,
Not updated.
Um,
Streets before water.
Forget it. I'm okay, it's fine.
You see it.
It's fine. You're right, streets.
Okay, so yeah, I figure there's just two, we
You're
can
right.
do that, and then we can stop for citizen
You're right.
comment, and then we can all go home.
Real quick, the drum roller, this is something, our current drum roller was going down the road and it completely broke apart. The one that we have now.
What do you mean broke apart?
It dropped about 3 inches. We don't know if the bearings or the shaft or whatever went out in it. It's a very used piece of equipment. There is, the company that manufactured it is not in business anymore, and there's nobody around here that can work on it.
That's the only one we have.
And that's the only one we have, yes, sir. So
Is
we
it
are
very-
replacing that.
Is it very old?
I'm trying to think.
Well, did they run into a wall with it?
Was that?
No,
that-
if you ran into a wall with it, there wouldn't be a wall.
Is it in the bracket? 'Cause I know the street stuff is in here.
And this is only that out there.
No, it was, it's just, we've used that piece of equipment so much, it's just not applicable anymore to deal with. We need to. Alright. So we do need to replace that. I'm gonna be honest with you, if we can find it in this year's budget, we're gonna go ahead and get it.
Yeah, what?
Come back and talk to y'all
Okay.
and see what we can do, because I don't know that we can find it, but,
It's only
we need,
27,000.
yeah, we need that piece of equipment pretty bad. The next one, alright, this is our big ask, I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
This is a big ask.
I got a paragraph on that.
Yeah, this is a big ask. And this is real stuff, we gotta ask, okay?
I know.
So don't shoot us because we're asking, but
No, I'm not. Not yet.
the boom axes that we use now, we buy the tractor, and then we buy the attachments, and we put them on. And y'all know for a fact, these things are breaking down all the time.
No, I don't know.
They're always down.
Okay.
We're
That
always
was the
having to
ditches and
replace the
that getting
shaft,
done,
we're
or-
always having to reduce,
Is that why the ditches are not getting done? Part of it, yeah.
well, I mean, that would have something to do with it, but I don't think we're not behind. I mean, if we're behind, it's not because we're behind, it's because the grass grows too fast, okay?
Yeah.
Depending on the rain and the weather. I mean, we can't speed up the process because we're on schedules.
Well, you
But when
know,
we do go down, yeah, it goes down and then we've gotta go in the shop.
when we bought the second one, we were told, because I've got a good memory, we were told we would take care of all. We were told we would take care of all of our ditches.
It does we do take care of the ditches.
So we already have
But we
two.
are having a maintenance issue with them. I mean, that's just it's because we're buying two pieces of equipment and putting it together. This new, this particular thing is, actually, it's local.
I got a picture here.
This is one piece of equipment that's designed, it has a much longer reach. Not to bring up a sore subject, but, one of the sister cities bought two of these last year. They're rating over how well they do.
Is that why we want one, or? I'm just teasing.
No, we're not trying to keep up, but at the same time, the reach on this is so much farther out, and we can do so much more with it, that it will actually, there's an efficiency issue too, because now, these boom axes do not reach out far enough, and we're having to go back and use weed eaters and other things like that. So this is a big ask, okay? This is the present with the bow on it. You know, I'm not gonna sit
Were
there.
you willing to sell one of our current ones? Can you sell one of our current ones?
Absolutely.
No, because in reality, you only have two operators, correct?
I mean, we got tons of operators.
Yeah.
We have several operators,
Yeah,
but all you need is two.
Operators.
So
Yeah,
we
we
really
can
went
surplus.
three, correct?
No, we're not asking, we can surplus one. We'll surplus whatever bad one we got. Billy, you wanna add anything to this?
Well, the tractors are in great shape.
Right.
It's a design flaw. When they put this thing on there, it lopsides it.
Yeah.
It makes it where all the weight's on one side. When they counterbalance, it throws the tires off. The shimmy cracks the windshields. You know, it's really a design flaw.
How much did one of those, how much did we pay for that? remember?
The existing ones?
99,000 for one. the oldest
89.
one.
So you should probably get 40, 50 grand for one.
And we paid 144 for the other one. One is fully depreciated, the other one's on the books for 65 grand.
In reality, if we sold one, that would go against this particular purchase.
We can do that.
And kind of look at it that
We
way.
can look at it that way, yes.
In my mind, I don't think you need three. I understand why you wanna get this, because it's more efficient, you know, and it's better, you know, and I think all of us are good with efficiency. But I just had a problem seeing that, saying, now, wait a minute, you've already asked for a second one, and now we want a third one. And,
Now we'll surplus the other one.
and I think, you know,
What'll happen is when they use this new one, they'll never use those old ones.
no, because they can't keep up with one machine. If they can keep up with one machine, I'll be surprised.
I seen one when they can use it all the time, we're on the bar office, that thing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look over to that outside, we actually do put on there to replace asset. And the issue would be, we would decide which asset we would replace. It'll be one of the two. And that's the amounts that we pay for each of them.
Well, let's sell the 2014, save the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, keep the 2020.
Right.
And, my question concerning this Manus is that, it's a very large machine. So we're not looking that all the ditches and all that can be
Right,
handled with that
exactly.
machine.
Right.
So,
It'll fit where it'll fit, and then the other one will handle the rest.
Now, let me ask you another stupid question. Is this gonna be another dump truck thing, or we don't have anybody that can operate it? When we first started, just before we bought the truck, and couldn't have anybody to operate it, we do now. But are we gonna get into a situation where nobody can operate this thing?
No.
Since we're talking on the size?
No, it's specifically made to mow grass in the ditches and off away from the tractor, so it's user-friendly as heck.
But it won't, it's larger than what we have now, so we won't be able to use it everywhere, correct?
I think it looks bigger in the picture than it actually is. I know that sounds silly, but it's made to be very maneuverable. I mean, it is specifically designed to do this job, where the
Do
ones
all
we
that.
have now are put together.
and we still have multiple attachments for this particular. So,
I mean, if you look at the picture of that cab, there's a guy sitting in it. That's not an extra large cab.
Wide open, you can see like 360 degrees. The visibility's a lot better.
Now, let me ask you another question. Is it air conditioned?
Sure.
Because I don't want you to come back a year later and say, well, we bought that machine, but it's got air conditioning.
You wouldn't be able to stand it.
Okay.
Since the
Part of our
question,
health weight loss plan.
since the question always comes up, what kind of warranty is on this?
Right.
I know, see, I thought I'd ask you before you did.
And who's gonna work on it?
Right.
Right.
Well, this is local.
I'm sorry?
This is local.
It's a local dealer?
Yes.
So they work on it as
Oh,
well?
I'd like to go see it then. Where?
Bill, where is it?
It's on 231.
231? We're on 231.
Is it Atmax Equipment Company? 4601
Probably local, it's
East
a local.
Highway
Oh,
22.
there it is.
Not 231, this says 22.
I think they have the wrong address. There's no,
No. Oh, that's our bill too. No, this shows Tampa.
this shows Tampa.
They're willing to come do a demonstration and everything, so
But I guess the question is the warranty and who's gonna maintain it? Where's, if
Yeah,
it breaks
that's
down, where are you gonna take it?
That's what Eddie said,
You gonna
it's
take it?
local. but
Who's,
it's Tampa.
who local's gonna work on
Oh.
it?
What's up on 230?
Cause this equipment's coming out of Tampa, correct?
Yeah, that's what it says.
they're manufactured in Tampa.
Okay, but are they sold in it here in Bay County?
It says Beard Equipment on there.
Did I say Beard Equipment?
It says they're a dealer for it.
Beard Equipment is the dealer.
Okay.
And
they're on 231.
Yes.
Which is 390.
Whether they have one sitting on the yard or not, I'm not sure.
So they would maintain it, correct?
Yes, sir.
But we don't know what the warranty is.
I don't know right on.
Could you get that for us in writing?
I mean, that doesn't mean we're not gonna approve it, it's just nice to know
Right.
what you got. Well, guys, we got through the street. Did anybody in the audience wanna say anything before we,
We're not through.
anybody? Huh?
Can I make a comment about streets?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, streets, the asphalt drum roller, 28,000, see if we can get it in this year. If we can't, we'll take it next year. Okay, as far as the, Bull Mower, I'm in favor of that, but sell the 2014, keep the 2020. And that's good for me for streets.
Okay. Okay, so does anybody else have any comment about the street? We're good for, we're not really making a final decision, I don't think at this point anywhere, so. So, did anybody in the audience want to speak before we run out of time? I want to give y'all the opportunity. No? No? Ms. Langston? I'm not just asking, Mr. Hall. I know there's fewer.
You see the wheels turning, don't you?
Huh? Well, I just,
Well, the only thing that I would say
Sir, you
is,
gotta get up
and
to
Bill had
the
already, you
Yeah, I
already
think
talked
you-
about it, is the operator who's, like, in my house, we have a crossover. That goes over to the retaining pond. That gentleman who was running the one we have now does not miss it. And then some of the water meters right there that's above ground, he smacked those a couple of times. I mean, it's just, I agree with what you said, you know, if this piece of equipment, what I just saw, seemed to me to be more operable, like you're talking about, more user-friendly. Because those things that we got now are counterbalanced off to one side, you know. Other than that, I mean, that's all I see.
wonderful. So you're in agreement with,
Oh, yes. Oh,
wonderful,
yes.
thank you.
I'm in agreement with the warranty as much as that thing costs.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. I mean, you get a pretty good warranty on a car that's a lot less, so.
Look at the warranty we got in the park truck. None.
Yeah,
1 year. And I'm surprised that it hasn't been back to the shop.
You just had to say something, didn't you?
I had to.
anybody else?
It's not their fault. It's just the manufacturer.
Yeah, I'll say something,
Okay.
because you know I gotta say something.
Well, that's what I thought. You might want to, that's all. And I mean, I looked at Ms. Pelletier and Mr. Hammond as well, so, and Mr. Hall, I try to give everybody an opportunity.
The only thing I just wanted to say was, about the merit-based. Whenever you guys agreed to it last year, and it was just kind of thrown out the window, I know the city manager said that it wasn't feasible and stuff, but then if it wasn't feasible, or if he thought it wasn't feasible, why wouldn't it come back to the commission to say, hey, look, there might be an issue with, you know, with the merit-based? Instead of just kind of ignoring it and kind of going on and kind of doing what you want to do with it. I think that if the commission decides something, I think that, you know, the city employees or whoever should follow it if it's decided by the commission.
Well, that one's gonna be rectified, I promise you.
And that's the only thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's gonna be rectified, I'll make sure of it. Anybody else? No? No? Well, if our other citizens don't want to say anything at this time, we'll pick up at the water department equipment next time. So we meet next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, right here. So if gentlemen have on your racing shoes so we can go through some of this stuff quickly. Yeah, I think so. Yes, sir.
So far, the only adjustment that's been made to the budget is the 50,000.
$0.50.
50 cents.
Yeah, we can
Equivalent,
$50,000.
equivalent to $50,000.
Okay.
We won't have
You
all
don't
the
think that's a
resources on
reprint?
the north end.
Do we need-
We'll have our resources.
No.
No.
So
Well,
we-
I'll reprint.
No, we're gonna reprint the budget, just for that. That's just spending money.